So, Steve, I just want to start off. We're gonna ask this question to every guest that comes on, and that question is, Steve, who are you today?
That's I can put it pretty simply. I've been getting better at being more concise. So,
Okay.
I am 31-year-old father of twin daughters who's been married for 8 years. And then right
Wow.
on cue, right on cue. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. One second,
Yeah,
guys. One
go
second.
ahead, go ahead. No worries. No
Man,
worries.
so I'll actually help a little bit, man. I'm super excited to have Steve on, man. Honestly, one thing that made me real excited that I think we'll get into a little bit is I think me and him connect on a really big point, and I think that's family. And that I
Okay.
just kind of got that just from, you know, looking and seeing what I was seeing just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to talk to this guy, man. I think it's going to be a great conversation we're going to have here.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And just a reminder, guys, we'll be taking questions at the halfway point from you guys live in chat or, of course, through Discord. So you can definitely post your questions there. There's a hashtag or whatever channel called Conversation Topics. If you can't post them live here, post them over there. I'm not going to be ignoring chat. I'm definitely reading and keeping up with you guys, but I may not be able to respond as quick and easily. Also, in terms of notifications, they'll pop up, but there won't be any noise. So, let me
That's
see.
good. That's smart. Yeah, she was looking for her charger because they're literally laying down right now. So it's like around the time. That's why I was like, we should do it around this time because then that's around the time to go to sleep and less interruptions. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No
Wicked.
worries, no worries.
So back to this conversation. I'm a father, husband. I'm a daytime healthcare administration professional, and I moonlight as a streamer. So that's me.
Very good.
that's awesome, man.
The
That's
streamer.
awesome. Dude, I respect anybody. Honestly, it's a full-time grind of life, dude, every day. One thing that I've been trying to deal with the concept is like you can't take a break as an adult. Like I was thinking like, man, I wish I could just have 1 month where I could go and just like I don't even think about anything, you know what I mean? But even if you were to do that as an adult, you're still thinking about the stuff, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
Yeah.
like go and chase after something you want to do, man.
It's funny
Keep
you say
the
that now though, because my daughters are on spring break this week, and I'm like, dude, we don't get spring break as adults. Like,
It's
this freaking sucks,
crazy,
dude.
right?
They're
It's
on
tough,
spring break,
man.
and I'm like, damn, I wish I had a week off to do nothing, just chill.
Yeah. No, I've been
That's when we used to get our gaming in, right? We used to game hard on those on our breaks, dude.
spring
It
break,
would be
summer break,
Yeah,
winter break. I mean, now we just don't get that at all. So we just have to find time to game when we can, right?
basically.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, definitely thanks for the quick introduction. I mean, I feel like at this point, everybody here definitely knows who you are. It's like maybe one or two people from my stream on the Fortnite side that maybe wouldn't
Hello,
know.
Buff Crew.
That
What
wouldn't
up,
know.
Buff Crew?
Yeah. So I want to kind of get just some more kind of introduction details about you and kind of some of I want to know who some of your like biggest influences in the gaming realm are. It can be esports, it could just be YouTuber, content creator, but I mean, who do you kind of like watch on the daily or find yourself when you're just chilling? You know, whose streams or YouTube videos are you browsing?
So the one that BGMichael I think touched on last week in the podcast because I did listen to the last week's podcast in full was Doctor Disrespect. Like he is an amazing entertainer. His infidelity with his wife and his personal life aside, like this guy knows how to put on a show. Not only does he play the game very well, but he also puts on an amazing show. Like there's nobody out here today that I can think of that it puts on a show and is also very like more than above average at a game. And so I tip my hat to that guy. He puts on a damn show every time he turns his stream on. You know you're gonna get a show. You know what kind of streamer you're in for. Everything is just meticulously like branded really well. So I give my hats. I give props to him. And I draw a lot of inspiration on like entertainment is the most important thing at the end of the day. Making a place for people to like be entertained and have a good time. So that's definitely number one. To a lesser extent, there's this other streamer. His name is Say No to Rage. Say No to Rage. He was like a big Destiny streamer when Destiny came out back in the day. And the reason I like Say No to Rage is because he talks about the hard truths about streaming, like people things about streaming, things about like stuff that you don't want to hear people say, like
Yeah.
maybe streaming's not cut out for you, maybe streaming's not this or that, and telling you like kind of like, well, maybe you're just not built for this. You know, he kind of makes you think about it. He breaks you down to make you think about like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be streaming because I suck and this is not for me. And so he has like
Oh,
this
wow.
podcast. He does his podcast live. Thank you, Mikey. He does his Q&A sessions live. He does a really, really well like structured like Q&A session, and I base actually my gaming news segment kind of similar on kind of like what he was doing. He was doing Q&A sessions on Destiny, now Anthem, and other games. So I was like, you know what, this is a cool format that he has. I obviously don't want to rip this off, but this is a great inspiration draw for me
Sure.
to do what I want to do with the gaming podcast. So he was another big inspiration for me. I still check out his content from time to time because he's very good. But both those guys are huge influences from a stream perspective that kind of help me like drive where I want to go with my content.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's something that you just mentioned of like not wanting to like necessarily rip off of someone else's idea, but I just feel like where we are right now with all the like abundance of content that's out there, it's really hard to not take ideas or take aspects from, you know, people's segments. You know, obviously podcast isn't a new thing, but it's just something that I've been really into lately in terms of listening and just ingesting this media like form. And I wanted to do it myself, and there's just so many cool people out here that we interact with very often that like I feel that it would be really good to kind of get to know each other a little bit better. So that's kind of, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with like taking different aspects of different content and using it for yourself. It's always really good.
Tilly's over here like trying to like get this. You want to come say hi to Rice, Tilly?
Yeah.
Say hello to Lily. She's over here like sideways, like talking on the side. Like, wait.
Just
She's
the
so
hair.
excited.
That's it. That's all
Hey,
you get.
this is a live format, guys. Cut this out in post. This is a live format right here. You guys are seeing this live. Talia here on the side. What are you trying to look at yourself? Come over here, look at yourself. Oh my gosh, get out of here, dork.
That's too funny.
She's crazy, dude. Yeah, but like with podcasts, though, it's like you could take the format in a podcast and you can make it your own. So like like I said, podcast is not new, but the way you structure the podcast can be done in a million different ways. So like even though like the news segment has been done like a million times, you can do it in the way that best suits you. So it's similar. Just you take that idea and you build your own personal brand into it. So
exactly.
I'm in agreement though.
Yeah,
For
sure.
You know what I think is like something that we could literally touch on every single podcast when we talk about this, like who's your influence in terms of gaming is, and why I think people will continue to say Dr. Just to be a normal streamer. Like I tried it for 3 months, is exhausting. Just to like get on and try to be yourself, like is so exhausting. And so to get on and be locked into a character, because like he is locked into that character.
Yeah.
Obviously he could do, if he wanted to throw it off, people would still follow him, but he's really throwing that, and that must be truly exhausting, way more exhausting than just trying to be myself, I imagine. So that's why I feel like anybody can look at what that dude does regardless of like, you know, his mistakes, because I feel like as men here we can all say we make mistakes. Like there's times when our brains isn't thinking like the thoughts that we would normally be thinking if we, you know what I mean? Like if something happens, man, I've tried to really detect it in my life and figure out what it is. And I know you guys might deal with it in other like different facets, but you know, we can't, you know, as bad as it is, we don't want to like be putting anybody down. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that we obviously, unless it was something extremely extreme, you know what I mean? That you just have to be like, all right, man. But I feel like that dude just has probably, but then again, you know, the money might be nice enough to keep the character. So who knows, you know what I mean? But I just feel like it would be exhausting. So that's why I tend to respect it so much. And, you know, I also can respect, I've never watched the second guy you say, honestly.
Same.
Afterwards, I'm actually gonna message you to send me that guy's name so I can check him out, because, you know, you don't find that in Twitch streamers. I feel people who are like that on Twitch, I feel it's harder to make it for them because people don't want to like, and this isn't a knock on him because obviously I've never watched him, but like whenever you see like these top streamers, they're like, they're not like critical of their like in the way you put it, you know what I mean? That's not like the norm. You get these people like Ninja or the
Yeah.
more like Summit, or I'm trying to think of even like some average people like Wings of Death. You know what I mean? He's not like a super big streamer. He's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
but like
So you touched on a good point there, like being critical. Like another big influence was Total Biscuit. Like a lot of people didn't like his opinions, but that guy sure had a freaking opinion
Yeah.
when he wanted to say something about a game. He let it be known how he felt about that game, right or wrong, or if you didn't agree, or like it didn't matter. You knew he had an opinion, and he was usually cynical about games.
Yeah.
Because he wanted the best. That's why he was called the cynical Brit. But like he was a really good influence as well in that you could make a platform for yourself and not necessarily like be the best gamer out there in the world. I mean, yeah, he was having the StarCraft scene. He even owned the StarCraft team, I believe. But he was extremely critical of games. He would break down games if games were doing really shady stuff. Like he would call it out immediately. And the same thing with Sandy the Rage guy. He calls out games. He makes the gamers themselves think about ways to make the game better. And he does like a call to action with the developers to like improve their game. And the crazy thing with the Stadium to Rage streamer is that he has ping ponged in viewership over the years. So like he was like huge in Destiny 1. Like when Taken King came out, he was like super up there in viewership, like in the thousands. And then when Destiny 2 came out, he was all ready for that. And then obviously Destiny 2 was a big flop as far as streamers are concerned.
Right.
And he took a big nosedive. He was like in the low hundreds and streaming. Like he went from thousands of viewers to hundreds of viewers overnight, and this was his full-time job. So you imagine the stress that the guy went through.
Yeah.
And he literally came back to reinvent himself, and then he turned back to his normal self again, streaming to thousands of viewers again. So it's just crazy how like you go through those phases with streaming.
Yeah.
So I respect that with the guy because he keeps it going and he keeps it really entertaining.
Yeah, man, I respect anybody that can push through the hump, man. That the initial big hump.
It's really hard.
And I will forever use the analogy of it's like a high-speed train, man. And if you don't catch that train and right at the right moment to where it's not gonna, take your arm off your shoulder, and it's gonna like it'll pass you. And if you like take too long of a break, or that's why I think we'll get into later.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna make a note about this. Like, but yeah, so it's just crazy, man. Streaming takes a lot of dedication. I think that's one thing. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline because you need to set a schedule, and you need to, I feel, meet that schedule. And people need to find you if you're on at any random time just because you feel like you want to be on at this time. I want to do it at this time. Good luck, but I don't know, man. I never want to say, you know, you don't ever want to be critical of. It's so hard to be critical of other people. You know what I mean? When you don't know the other person, that's what's so
Yeah.
crazy about. I think Twitch is it so.
The way Twitch is like you can't be critical of someone unless you're successful yourself, and even if you're successful, there's gonna be more people successful than you. So like a lot of people will punch downward, not upwards, whenever they're being critical of someone. Meaning that if I'm like a medium-sized streamer, I'm gonna punch down on the smaller streamer, and I will not punch up because then those bigger streamers will be like, "Who are you?" Basically,
they can just clap back and just
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you're nobody, and it's the same. I think that there's pros and cons to that, but again, this is the way it is. Like as a smaller streamer, I'm not afraid to say I'm a smaller streamer. Like I don't really try to be critical of the streamers themselves, but this like kind of content that has been out there in general. I try to generalize the criticism that I have for anything more or less than like zone in on a specific streamer if I have any type of critical feedback. I think it's more well received that way too.
Yeah, I have to say before I forget this note, when we had first kind of decided that we were gonna have you on, um, because I've played with you on League. We don't like really know each other.
You guys smashed us in League. I heard that all last week on the episode, getting destroyed in League of Legends. I was like, thanks guys, thanks.
Come on,
Destroyed
come on, wait.
We're like you're like beginner bots in League of Legends, dude. Like
we never said that.
I was like, my soul. My soul.
No, we never said that, dude.
What do you expect? We're the daycare, man.
We didn't say anything.
We're not buff. We don't lift weights, bro. We don't lift weights.
Oh, you're buffer than me, bro. What do you mean?
I'm heavier than everybody, though.
Shit, bro. How tall are you, bro? Is it?
I'm short. I'm like 5'10".
There's no way.
I'm 5'5", bro. I'm short. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
5'6" on a good day.
Short.
Whoa, we met. We're gonna meet again, but
I didn't think you were that short though. Or maybe you were wearing like. Yeah, Torchy's 5'5". He said.
5'6".
Dang.
5'6" on a good day. 5'6"
I wish
on a
you
good
could see
day.
her reaction when she said
You're
that.
pretty short, bro.
Yeah, you're pretty short, bro. You're pretty short. You
gotta
need to wear
ask
some.
to get stuff
You
on
need to
the
wear those
frame.
like thick Adidas shoes with the big sole, bro.
I do.
Yeah, like these
Ultra
right here,
Boost
like-
gives me a little bit of height.
Yeah,
Oh
you can
my-
see her.
she's
She's clowning, bro. She's clowning.
No, they have platform.
Wait, yeah, the platforms for guys.
Yeah, they have a platform.
I'm not gonna wear
Pretty
platforms
sure if
for
you're wearing
guys.
platforms
dude.
into your dude, you're getting flamed.
Yeah.
Especially where Jack lives. You're getting hard
Bro,
roasted,
yeah,
bro.
don't get us
There's
TOS.
no way he can wear that, man.
So true, dude.
Which one is the short one? The Asian one or the other one?
It's Torchy. Wow,
Feels bad.
Monka ass here.
I like it. We're starting off strong. This is, we're
killing
we're
it, dude.
literally
She's
one question
killing
in,
it.
and we're that's
Oh my goodness.
that is
Oh my
too
God.
funny, bro.
But
Yeah, you're Filipino, right?
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah.
Filipino. Do you get Korean a lot? Do you get Korean?
I get Chinese and
I
Mexican,
always
and
thought
that's
he
it.
was Korean first.
She thought you were Korean at first.
It's probably the hair.
Probably.
Probably the hair. No.
I'll be
I
honest,
would never see you as Mexican, though. I do not see you as Mexican.
My last name is Alvarez, so if you know that, then you get really
well, if
confused.
I see you on paper, if I
yeah,
see you
if
on
you see me on
yeah.
paper, it's really
Yeah.
confusing.
Honestly, I wouldn't
Short,
guess.
I have a big junk.
I wouldn't guess to be
No,
safe.
I would
Bro.
be so wrong that I'd look stupid. That
Oh
it
my
would just look
God.
like, or I'd look stupid, or it'd be like, wow, do you think they all, it'd be like, really? Wow. So I just don't guess. It's not good, bro.
That's
But
too
no,
funny.
honestly, when I kicked on your stream, bro, something that kind of surprised me because I've been tuning in over the last couple of weeks and just seeing like the.
So
numbers
has he
that you get.
dated girls shorter than
And-
him? 5'1"? Because there's girls, Asian girls.
I don't think she knows we're doing a podcast
No,
here. Hold on.
it's okay.
She's over here like
It's all
conversating.
good.
Hold on. What's up?
It's okay.
Has he dated,
They're asking me questions here, kid.
has he dated girls?
How tall is
shorter
Ghost?
than him? Like 4 or something?
She wants to know if you've dated girls shorter than you,
Only.
like really short
Or taller?
or taller. Like he said, only
Mm.
shorter girls.
'Cause some guys like
Talia's
that.
taking over the podcast, apparently, guys.
Some girls.
These
Dude,
are the real live
in the
chat
driver's
questions.
Yeah, this is like the real life.
These are
Like,
the
she's up here on
live
side
chat.
just asking a bunch of
Seriously.
questions. Like, what? Do you want to come over here and do the podcast?
Seriously.
Oh, he's so
Yeah, that's-
curious. They're already
Bro,
trying to
this-
ask me questions,
I
and
got
you're
a
trying to be
whole-
on the conversation.
Seriously though, I got a whole bunch of questions about you and your family like later,
Oh,
so it would
yeah, I
be-
know.
She'll probably come into play.
Yeah, we'll come. We'll
'cause-
come. They have questions for us in a little bit if you want to come back for those.
Okay, but I'm in my bra.
All right. Well, you gotta not be in a bra because that's TOS.
I'm gonna get banned.
Please
Steve,
don't get
Steve is
banned.
purposefully
Please, this is not a
sabotaging
dream.
my stream. He
Please don't
wants
be
me
in the
banned. Everyone
streaming
wants
episode
to
2,
go
we're going
to
off the air,
daycare
guys.
afterwards.
Episode 2, we're going off the air.
Damn, bro. Jack
I'm,
needs
I'm,
a
about
new
to,
stream.
I'm gonna cut my webcam real quick, guys. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. All right,
That's
yeah,
funny.
but I'll hit you when we do the questions for the family and stuff.
Family? I'm not a family. Why? am I
Oh,
a
Well,
family?
well, like
It's
your
about us,
family
it's about
plus
us
the
and the
yeah,
girls and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
she's
okay.
she's so like
She's sassy tonight.
confrontational. She's confrontational tonight, man.
That's funny. Okay,
But,
well, then, so that we don't, for the sake of time, we'll
No,
keep going so that we can get to those questions, so that we can.
Where were we?
We
No,
suck.
I mean the next question that I have is just a really basic one. I mean, Steve, what's the earliest memory that you have of playing video games?
That one's really easy for me because it's with my grandma. So I was probably like 6 years old. I was playing Nintendo with my grandma, the original Nintendo NES with my grandma. She would play Mario World 3, the one with the raccoon on the picture. I think that's Super Mario 3, not Super Mario,
3.
but Mario World 3. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we played
it's
that one
3.
together. My
think.
grandma was hardcore with that game. She would literally there was a matching game you had to do, like a little mini game in the game. She would literally write down all the different matches because it would just cycle through the different ones, and she would have the paper handy, and she would know which cards were which by just flipping to the first two. So I just played with her, and then we graduated to Super Nintendo. But yeah, that was basically what we did.
That's
So
awesome.
I started with my grandma.
That's interesting. With your grandma,
That's
I
pretty
feel like
crazy.
that's like one of the least expected people that like gets you into video games. Like for me, it was my dad.
Oh,
And
with your dad? That's cool.
yeah, me and my
That's
dad
cool.
were like playing
That's really cool.
and stuff, and I feel like it's some stories I feel like are pretty common in that, like Shroud played with his dad. Yeah, and
Yeah,
things like that.
my parents were really into games, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they tried and they would play like really, really casually, but it was with my grandma really. My grandma on the Nintendo, and then she had a Super Nintendo that we later like basically just took. Like was
Yeah.
at her house, and we just ended up taking it, and so we just played games together. And so I was playing as early as like 6 years old with my grandma. So.
Word. That's what's
The
up.
only game I played at my grandma's house, she had a Deal or No Deal board game. It was incredible, bro.
Board game.
According to that thing, I'm a billionaire, and I need that cash ASAP, bro.
A
Jeez.
billionaire.
I need that cash yesterday. That's
Yesterday?
pretty
Oh
crazy.
my
Yesterday, bro.
Jeez.
Man, so I kind of want to segue us into the next one, man. So since you started like taking up streaming, your opinion on this may have changed. So I kind of want to ask it as like a two-part question. Before you started streaming, how did you look at gaming? Did you feel like gaming was more of like a hobby or more of something you used to like as I did to like itch my competitiveness kind of? Or and then now that you're streaming, because now when you play games it's kind of different, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't get to play
Mm-hmm.
games as much as you do or used to in your free time because in your free time you're streaming. So you might kind of value games in a different way than you used to, you know what I mean? So that's why I kind of want to ask the question in a two-part, as in how did you feel about gaming prior to starting streaming, and then how do you feel about gaming now that you are streaming and now kind of have, I feel, some light in your tunnel. You know what I mean? It's not like your tunnel's not pitch black right now. There's a little there's some shimmer there, you know what I mean? So what yeah, so go ahead, brother. Tell me what you think.
I for gaming prior to streaming, it was mostly just an outlet or an escape. Like many of us kids that had troubled adolescence with like poor upbringings from our parents and stuff. So I'll probably get into that a little bit more later, but key road growing up since I was young. So games are just like an outlet for me. Just let me like kind of like it was a way to escape all the shit I was dealing with and not have to deal with it. But as I got older, it became more of a competitive thing, especially with like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. When that came
Yep.
out, it was more a competitive thing, and I had friends to play with, and I was a teenager, so I was working, so I could afford to like buy games and stuff. And so it became more of a competitive thing for me. But I was never really the best. I was like above average, but never like as good as some of my friends were. Like some of those guys are like really good, like stupid good, and then like I was just like a tier below like the good players, but I never like a terrible player, so I was just competitive, just trying to play with them, have a good time. Never took it serious. And then when streaming came around, it changed like dramatically for me because at the end of the day, I think the most important thing with a stream is for me, if I'm not going to be a professional player, then I need to be entertaining and trying to put on a good show
Yeah.
and entertain and try to be that escape or outlet for someone else is the most important thing to me. So if people are bored with my stream or if they're not having a good time, then that really hurts me because that's my whole goal is just to make it more of an escape or outlet for people to come hang out and have a good time.
I feel
Yeah.
that. I respect that, brother.
Yeah, I feel the same way about everything you just said. Like once you get into like streaming and you start being able to interact with all these great people, it's like I don't know. Okay, I don't know about you, Steve, and you can maybe even touch on this if you want, but like I've gotten a few DMs from people at the Buff Crew just like talking about how just the idea of the stream has like helped with a bunch of hard times. And I mean it really feels super cool to be able to have an impact like that. And it just I don't know, I'm personally just grateful for everybody that's here and that's stuck around for so long, but just to hear it from somebody else that technically I don't really even know, that's what the craziest thing to me is. I don't know
That's the coolest thing.
some of these people like personally, right? And it's just really cool to me. So yeah, I don't know.
That's the craziest part about streaming. It's like I was talking to somebody from Germany yesterday.
Yeah.
And these people are both from Germany. They live far apart from one another, but they were speaking German in my chat, talking to each other, and I'm like, that's freaking dope. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
And we're all just hanging out. in my chat randomly just while I'm playing a game, and they're here talking to me in English and speaking to each other in German. I'm like, this is freaking cool. So like things like that are really, really unique and really cool and special to me. Like that you can just connect with people from all over the world, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know something crazy? So for a little bit, when I tried to stream again, like 2 years ago, right when Fallout 4 came out, there's this one guy who was in my stream every day for 2 weeks from Norway, and I
Dang,
streamed
that's
super
crazy.
late, and he spoiled the entire game for me. And I stopped streaming because I thought to myself, "Wow, I'm level like I haven't done no story missions, and I have an alien gun. I'm
He gave you
level
all the
maxed
good
out.
stuff.
Like I was like, this shit sucks, bro. Like, thanks for being on my stream, but
I
fuck,
was not expecting that twist in the
where's
story
my
there. I thought it was gonna be like a wholesome story, and he's like, "No, this guy ruined
no,
this fucking game for me,
no,
dude.
dude, he literally like I love Fallout, bro, and he just told me where
He
everything is at.
ruined
I was like, well,
everything for you."
shit, dude, whatever. So literally, seriously, I was like, well, I'm not gonna stream single player games.
That's freaking hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
hilarious.
crazy. No, so that kind of segues perfectly into my next question, man. Is I I had like kind of a moment when I was playing Call of Duty that I felt like when I was winning a lot on UMG, I felt like people maybe wanted to watch. I don't know why. It wasn't like an egotistical thing. It was just like I'm smashing pretty good people. Like at the
Mm-hmm.
time we're smashing like this really good guy right now. His name's Tupac Thuglorg. We were
What the
smashing this guy. I'm serious, bro. He's a beast, bro.
That name is funny though.
Yeah, bro, it's funny as hell. You wanna know what's even funnier? He's like a German dude. Like it's hilarious, bro. Like it's hilarious, bro. But and at the time we were like going at
Oh my
wars with
god.
that guy, and so I felt like maybe people wanted to watch, and so that is what really kind of started my like ambition or drive to want to stream. And so what my question is like, what is one? What was that decision like to like decide to start streaming? And then also, if you kind of segue into like what's your earliest memory of Twitch, maybe if you want to answer that one first and then the other one. But yeah,
I think what was the first one again? Earliest memory of Twitch, and then what was the other one?
what was the like what kind of prompted you to start streaming? What was the
Oh, okay, yeah,
moment
they're
that
actually tied together. They're actually tied together. Okay, cool. So basically, what got me into streaming was I had been exposed to this platform many years ago. I think my account's like from 2014, I want to say, or earlier. And so like I had friends that were like heavy into League of Legends, and like they wanted to make a team. This is back when we had actually fives and shit. And I couldn't play on team because I wasn't good enough, So I was like, okay, so what do I do? I want to be involved with this team, but I can't play on the team because I'm not good enough to be on the team. I was like basically the same skill I'm at now. I'm like, so I was like silver 5 player. It was like really bad, and I was a support player, so really they didn't have any need for me. And so I was like, I want to help out. I'll help you guys with VOD reviews. I'll record your games and I'll do VOD reviews and kind of do like the coaching, if you will, because I understand the macro play a little bit. And so they're like, okay, cool. We can use help with that. We have multiple people help and coach that. So the way we did it was on Twitch, obviously. And so I would literally go and spectate all their games, and I would record their games and try to catch all the plays, try to catch the laning phases of each person. And we go back and review that and discuss strats and comps and stuff like that. And I did that for a while, and that's kind of like how like Twitch was like for how I was first exposed to Twitch. That was the name of my actual channel was the name of their team, actually. So I repurposed the name of the team to my name that it is now. So it's the same exact account that I used back then, and it just changed everything. They were called Tronics Gaming back in the day. So they were just like they had a PC cafe like paying for all their entry fees into gaming and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
It let them use
wow,
all the PCs for free. So like they could literally go as a
wow,
5-man and go in person to this PC bang or whatever, this PC cafe, and go play games like for as long as they wanted. It was so cool. And
that's
so
incredible.
they were their name of it was Tronics Gaming because that was the name of the place. It was called Tronics. And
Well,
so that's what they did, and we all just went there and we chilled and we played games together. And then when the team disbanded later on, they all went their separate ways. It lasted for about a year. I was still going on Twitch a lot using that account, and I would just like randomly use Twitch to help me do purchasing decisions on games. That was the most I used Twitch for. Was like if there's a
Oh.
game out here, but I'm not sure if I like it, I'm gonna go to Twitch and see what this game is like before I go and spend $60 on it. Because if it's not a
Word.
game I like, then I'm not
Yeah.
gonna blow my money on it. So I was like, all right, let me watch this guy play this. Like, what is this?
I feel
So I would
that.
literally just watch for gameplay only and help me make an informed purchase decision. Now, other than that, I did never interact with chat. I always thought it was weird interacting with chat. I always like, well, what's the point of interacting with chat? I didn't understand the whole Twitch
Yeah.
ecosystem thing back then. And I was like, I just care about if this game is good enough, if it looks like something I would play, and that's it, you know. And so I would occasionally ask questions about the game, but that would be it. Like
How,
it was
yeah.
strictly game focused.
How long have you been streaming? Like,
It will be 2 years in June, so we're getting
oh,
close.
okay.
So yeah, so it'll be 2 years in June.
Word.
Um,
Are you surprised at all by like, or are you maybe, because you can be honest, um, at your own like risk though. I don't want you to like say anything
no,
too,
yeah, sure,
but
of
like,
course.
are you surprised or at all a little bit disappointed at the rate in which you're growing?
Uh, I'm more realistic than I was before. I think originally when I first started streaming, I was very discouraged with the growth because I had unrealistic expectations for the growth patterns and everything. And in the first year, I had no real direction on what I wanted to do with the stream. So, like for example, I only streamed like 3 days a week. It was on the weekends. I had no like personal brand. We didn't have anything to like call ourselves. So like now we're the daycare. We didn't have any of that stuff. And it took me forever. You can ask Mike in chat. Like it took me forever to find a personal brand that I could like say is me. And I floundered with that for so long. I didn't know what my identity was, if you will, and I could not find that forever. And so it wasn't until March of 2018 actually. So if you technically take the March date, that would be my first like official like serious stream where I actually upped my stream days from 3 days to 5 days, and I had a brand to go around everything. Kind of took it a little bit more serious, got more active on social media. Like after that, after the like right before my first year mark is when I started really taking it serious, and you can see like my statistics actually show the change and growth after I started like getting more heavy into it. So from June 2017 to like March or to like February 2018, like that period, I was just kind of floundering a little bit, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I really just started buckling down and learning more about it. And lately, I've been satisfied with the growth I've been having. It's a slow, steady pace, and based on my skill in the game that I play,
Yeah.
and the platform that I'm on, I'm actually content with how we're doing so far. So
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints. If I wanted to make those things like grow faster, then I would need to change one or all three of those different aspects in order to do better at this whole thing to make it bigger. But I'm happy where I am. I love the people I'm with, so I'm good.
That's awesome. And I mean, what's crazy is just like we bring this up all the time on my stream is just how just with the just numerically the stat of your follow count to your viewership ratio is
Yeah, dude, I was gonna comment on this.
insane, dude.
I was
You
gonna comment on
always
this, and
have
I didn't know how.
yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
you have the
Wow.
same people coming by every night or every time that you're streaming. It's always the same solid number that I see, and I'm just like, bro, this guy is insane. Like the
Yeah.
community is coming back over and over and over, and that's super awesome
That
to see.
speaks to you as
Yeah,
a person.
exactly.
And
I'll just
Exactly.
say this right now. Like that speaks to the damn community because those guys are effing insane. Like every single one of these people like that come and support and just hang out. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy that they want to just chill with me after I feed every single game of League of Legends, and I have really terrible nights in League of Legends that they still want to come out and hang out and have a good time. So at the very least, I could say I put on an entertaining show.
There you go.
If not for the good gameplay, they come for the entertaining memes, or at least they could display me too. So that's good too. Another form of entertainment. So yeah, I just want to say thanks to the daycare community that's here. Love you guys. Appreciate it.
no, I was seriously surprised, like at and I don't want to make this seem in a bad way, at just like how many followers you had because of the numbers you have.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't click honestly and to see how many followers you had until 15 minutes before we started right now. And so the last like 2 weeks, I've been watching you stream at those numbers, and I've I've just been kind of like correlating that, you know what I mean? And then honestly, today when I clicked on it, I was like that
Bro,
is
it should
incredible.
be bigger
Like,
just based on the average viewership.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like so to say that like a slow and steady pace, I can understand why you say that in terms of maybe your follower count, but you are light years, literally.
Yeah.
And I say light years because, dude, there's got to be like some lightning luck, I feel too. Like, 'cause this kind of cycles into my next question to like, do you feel like Twitch is a platform that, you can thrive off of just straight hard work, like head down in the dirt, stream, stick to my schedule, whatever my schedule is, and success will come to you, or do you feel like it's kind of this thing of like maybe it's like a little bit of hard work but also some luck involved, or whatever people want to
Mhm.
leave it up to. So if you could kind of speak on that, what you feel like it is, that's what I'm
Yeah.
kind of interested about.
Yeah, sure. Like before we start that, I just want to comment on like the follower count thing versus viewer thing. Like I take pride in like having a smaller follower count, but a decent sized viewer count. Like I really take pride in that because that means the people that actually are following me are not like empty follows or people that just follow just as a courtesy. Like they follow because they actually want to see the content, they want to hang out and chill with me. So I take pride in that. Like I don't need like a 20,000 follower count to feel good about myself, because at the end of the day, like followers don't really mean anything. Yeah, it brings more people to discover your channel, but if those people are just following you just to follow you and not going to come back, then it's a waste of time for them to even hit that button to begin with. So
Yep.
I mean, if you truly care about the content I'm putting out, then so be it. And then real quick, just to touch the follower count subject, literally last month was crazy. Like we would get so many followers and then we get so many people unfollow us at the same time. So like I was getting as many followers as I was losing, or some cases I would be getting more people unfollow me than follow me. So, like my count would just fluctuate forever at
That's
like
where I'm
the
at
number it
right
was at.
now.
So it
Yeah.
was like I was just fluctuating constantly. I was like, whatever. I was like, as long as people are having a good time, whoever's here, I don't care. Like I always focus on who's there, not who's not there, and that's all. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Keeps your mental state in check too. But back to like luck and everything and how to be successful in this platform. I'll preface this by saying I am not successful in the platform, so I am by no means an expert at this yet. But I will tell you my personal experience. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So there is luck involved, but you need to be prepared for when that luck does come your way, and be ready for that opportunity. So what I mean by that is like you can sit here and we can go host somebody for 100 viewers, and this could be the first day streaming, and they're not going to know how to take advantage of that 100 viewer bump in their viewership. They're not going to be able to activate those viewers to come back to their stream. They're not going to be like, oh, you know what? My name is so and so. This is what I do. Here's what I'm about. They're gonna be like, oh my god, what is this? They won't even know what's happening probably because it's their first day streaming. So they're not prepared for the opportunity of obtaining those new viewers. So again, you have to be prepared. How do you get prepared? You do your homework, you research it. If you really care about doing this as a profession or trying to grow it, and then you do all the homework. You got to know what's what. You got to know how everything works. You got to know who's who, and you got to know what games are good, what games are not good. You got to reach out and get to know people like we're doing tonight. There's just so many things involved with like preparing that it's really hard. I feel like I'm prepared, but I'm still not 100% ready yet. And it's like you got to keep going and keep learning and keep growing. And if you're prepared, like I said, you're gonna get hosts from Boogie, the famous YouTuber, or you're gonna get hosts from Your Princess, which both of those people did actually host me once. They'll host you, and you'll be able to take advantage of some of that big influx of viewership coming your way. And if you're not ready, then you're gonna look like a fool, and maybe you doomed your chances of getting there. But in the very beginning of me streaming, I got super lucky. So I don't recommend this to anybody jumping into streaming. I had zero presence on any social media platform at all. Zero. I didn't even have an Instagram account. I didn't have a Facebook account. I didn't have a YouTube account. I didn't have anything. I had zero social media preference. I was just completely off of social media. The only thing I had was a Twitter account that I hadn't used since I made it, and that was back in like 2014 as well. So like I literally had zero presence on any social media at all. So all the social media numbers you guys see today, those are built from the ground up from like last year, because I didn't even start doing social media until last year either. So I literally only been doing that for like a year. And so coming with no social media presence, no presence on Twitch, to try to become a streamer, you have to have realistic expectations that you're not going to be big right out the gate, or no one's going to know who the hell you are out the gate. So all that stuff takes time. But in the very beginning, I was super lucky though. I was streaming to like myself and like maybe one other like coworker that would watch my stream. But I had these two people like that were streamers that were like getting decent viewership, like 20 viewers at a time, like 15, 20 viewers at a time. And they would come host me. They randomly found me down in the one viewer range. You know how far you have to scroll down to one viewer?
Real far.
Bro, I haven't scrolled down to one viewer in so long. But I could just imagine how many people were sitting at one or zero viewers, and they scrolled down to the one viewer range and found me. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Super ridiculous. And from that point on, they helped me get a little momentum going. So like the first month, I think I averaged like maybe like 3 viewers, and then like the second month, I was averaging like 10 viewers, like right out the gate for like the second month out. it's because both these people would just host me like consistently, and for me that was huge because I was went from 3 to 15. I'm like, holy crap, we got so many people in here, and so like that helped me get exposure right out the gate. But then I didn't take advantage of it because I wasn't prepared, so I literally floundered at like 10 for like ever, and then I realized that I need a personal brand. Like, I don't know how many times me and Mikey had conversations about personal branding and stuff because, like, I wanted to have something that people could rally around because I really feel at the end of the day that you need a place of belonging for people. You need something that you can call your own. Like, if you look at all the bigger like content creators out there, they have like groups or clubs that you can become a part of by being in their community. They call their community something very specific, something very unique to them. And I had nothing like that. And that is kind of why we floundered for a while because I didn't know what I wanted to do. My username was Max Faded before I changed to DaddySteve, so I was about getting faded and partying and stuff. And I'm like, that's not even me anymore. Like that was the old me. Dude. I don't even get faded or
I
party
miss
or
the
do any of that
old
stuff.
Steve.
I was like, when am I partying or did any of that stuff, dude? Like that was so old. Like Max Faded. I'm like, yeah, don't. It doesn't even resonate with me anymore. Like it was so bad. That's just like, yeah. So I was like, what am I? And we literally sat there like, what am I? I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this literal. I'm like, I'm a dad, and my name's Steve. Literally, that is how my name came. I was like, DaddySteve, whatever. And then we realized that it was like probably a sexual connotation too. I was like, fuck it, we're rolling with it. We're rolling with the sexual connotation. Screw it, let's go.
Let's get it.
And then the Max Faded thing came from like when I played video games, like because I always played like Call of Duty, like either like high or drunk or whatever. Like I would always be like loaded playing video games, and that was how we played. We would go out, party at night, and come home and just play video games together, and that's what we did as friends. Like we'd all go out together, and we'd all go our separate ways, and we still get online and act stupid online, and that's what we did for a long time. That's why I had the Max Faded name. So yeah, so bad, that's bad, crazy. Dude. Yeah, and so like now now I'm DaddySteve, and I think that word is even banned from Torchy's chat.
I think I unbanned it. I unbanned it. Okay, someone go try it. Go try it. It's unbanned. It should be. It should be okay.
That was literally like that's my origin story for DaddySteve, and then so we made the daycare around it. The mods actually helped create that, and honestly, the best way for you to build a brand if you're struggling with creating a brand is have your community that cares about you, that comes back to see you every day. Have them help you make it out. More often than not, they know better than you on how to build this stuff out. You know, so that I just listen to my community, and I still listen to them to this day on like what's the best route to go. Or I always consult with the OGs or the main contributors to make sure that I'm not like straying too far away from what we're about. You know, but
exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's really crazy that you just said that, man. So hold on, I just want to kind of retouch on that so I can clarify for myself. So, like you just said that you'll still like go back to like your, whoever you claim like or not claim, whoever like your top contributors to make sure you're not straying too far. That's kind of like you in the moment being able to like you're going out of your way to receive self-criticism to basically check yourself to make sure that you're not maybe acting a bit too funny or
yeah,
a bit too toxic and that speaks a lot, man. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, like dead serious, and I know you shouldn't generalize people, but there are probably like 5 people that do that, and all of like from 1 viewer to probably 100. Like I feel like nobody does that. Nobody wants to seek out self-criticism ever, and the fact that you already
I know Torchy has. I'm gonna put him on the spot. I know Torchy has done it personally because he's had some comments where he said that he doesn't want to be a certain way, and he's told his chat, and he's even told his community because I've been there when he said it, and I know he's one of those people too. So I like that too because he's into self-criticism where like getting beat up by his chat, if you will. That's what I call it. Like I get flogged by my chat because I like pain apparently, but yeah, he's definitely done it too. So I think that's the only way you get better though. I mean, that's the only way you learn. Like you drive away your viewership and you wonder like what happened, and you don't ask the questions ahead of time. So I try to be proactive and be like, you know what, I think this stream was kind of weird. It didn't feel right. What can we do? Like just have like a little huddle in your Discord or whatever, and just talk to people. Or even after the stream's over, just talk on the voice comms. Like, hey, what do you guys think? Or how'd you feel? Another thing too is like, I always have like second guesses about the game I stream because obviously League of Legends oversaturated and I really suck at that game. And I know a lot of people in our community love that game, but I know like in the long term, like that game is just going to slow down like our opportunity to like gain additional like community members. So I always have that internal conflict with myself. Is like, I love this game to death, but it is not the best game to stream. But then I look at all the other games out there. I'm like, I don't want to stream any other game though. All the other games suck too. So like,
Yeah.
I'm always talking with my community about like, what should we do? Because I always get down. I always give like, guys, I'm getting rid of League of Legends. I'm gonna be a full-time just chatting broadcaster. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, like you just go off the deep end sometimes, and then they reel you back in. Like, get your shit together, Steve. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. This it's just a rough patch right now. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's the crazy thing is like with League being so saturated, it's like, but we like, I know at least for me and Mike, and it definitely sounds like for you that the three of us, no matter what we do, we're always gonna get reeled back into League, like just because that's what we enjoy doing. So to stream it, it's so hard, and like I think that's what's crazy is I started my initial streams off of League of Legends. Grew a little bit, and then Fortnite took over. The Fortnite boom happened, and then I'm back to League, and so it's like, and then even like yeah, that's so true. But even for a little bit, Apex, right? And it's like, you know, I don't really want to go into like all the different games and stuff, but it's just like all those games that I just mentioned are so oversaturated that it's really hard to be discovered, and yet for me, I only go back to it because that's just what I enjoy doing. And I feel like if I at least enjoy the game, no matter how many losses I take, how tilted I get, at least I'm in, like, it's the game that I want to play. And that's hopefully helped kind of like show more of who I am, really. Like, if I was to play a game that I wasn't into, like, you'd be able to tell right off the bat, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I get super passionate playing League. I'm out here yelling, like,
dude, I didn't know you guys were so serious about the custom games. Like, holy crap,
we're out here yelling insane comms, bro. We are looking like
our preparation is so different than yours. Like, we're literally sitting here like, who's gonna be on our 5v5 team?
I feel so bad.
I do too, because we have the same team every time.
I feel like I'm just that kid at the playground who just walks up, grabs, just give me everything.
Bro, we're so disorganized
right now.
Sorry, guys.
Oh my god, man.
We're so disorganized because they're like, oh, it's just a friendly custom in-house, and we're like over here like playing, and we're like, is anybody available? Does anyone want to play? And they're like, everybody's raised their hand like, I'm in. I'm like, okay, let's go. No coordination.
I feel bad
no
because
this guy, Jack has messaged me, bro, when I'm like on the way home from movie theaters, like, bro,
get on right now. Stream war happening. Get online. I need the jungle.
I literally messaged him recently, like, risking it for the biscuit. Hashtag don't text and drive. Hashtag something else. It was hilarious, bro. Like, forget it, man. I'm on my way, bro.
I like when you say you're passionate, dude. That's a perfect example of you being passionate, though. Like, even in the custom, like, friendly games, like, you're passionate about winning. I love it. I love it. The competition's cool too. We'll be more competitive next time. Don't worry. We'll be more competitive. We'll be ready to go.
Boy, someone's coming out swinging.
I'm feeding extra hard.
Oh my god. You know what? I kind of want to segue off to still something about Twitch, but just something a little bit different. Is what do you think that is like the biggest takeaway that you've gained from, really, I think from just your community? What do you think that, like, maybe also what is like the biggest criticism that they've given you that you try to work on? So maybe as a two-part question. So yeah, go ahead, brother.
I think the biggest criticism is treating everybody equally.
Yeah,
I think sometimes I focus on certain people too much, and I need to like be more inclusive. I try to be inclusive as possible, but you have those moments where you're caught up in a conversation, or you're caught up with a certain person that you're talking to. So being more inclusive, like not isolating people, and making sure that people feel like they're together and it feels like a community. Because you can do that sometimes, especially with people that come back over and over and over again, or people that take over the chat and talk a lot. So I think at the end of the day, you just need to be cognizant of that and be aware that you need to make sure you're addressing everybody, especially because we're smaller streamers, and we're able to like interact with our community a lot more intimately than a larger streamer, and to engage with as many people as possible is kind of like what we need to do. The biggest thing that I've gotten out of streaming, though, like learned from streaming, is like entertainment value. Honestly, like my day job is like healthcare administration. Is super boring. You literally do like behind the scenes work all day, and then you do like presentations sometimes, and there's meetings all throughout the day. And I find myself way more engaging and way more lively when I'm discussing my content. Even if the work I'm talking about is extremely boring, I'm able to turn that boring topic into something like interesting for people to listen to. And so I feel like I get people's attention more by the way I deliver the information that I'm giving to them. So I think streaming at the end of the day has helped me like really focus on like keeping people's attention, and it's actually translated into my day job to where I'm actually having people actively listen to me as opposed to like being on their laptop or being on their phone.
Right.
They're actively listening to what I have to say, and they're engaged with what I'm talking about. So I think that's really good. And then obviously self confidence, like you can speak, and like you don't really know if you can do something like this or not until you actually do it. And then whenever you do, you're like, I can do this. This is good.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. You know, it's just like the little self confidence thing. It helps you like build a little bit within yourself. You're like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not like completely gonna get shattered by turning on my cam. You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
turning on that webcam is a big deal.
The webcam's a big deal. Hitting start
Swear,
stream's a
man.
big deal. But for me, the thing you just mentioned, like building my self confidence, it actually started when I tried to vlog in public, and just having a camera, holding like just my cell phone, like
Yeah.
this,
yeah,
and talking to a camera in public.
that's
You get
that's,
some weird looks, even
that's
though
stressful.
yeah, and like no, even if like nowadays everyone's doing it and whatever, and like there's YouTube and everyone's watching all these vlogs, but when they see somebody doing a vlog in public live, they like look at you funny. And like for a while, I would like start something and then just pause, look around, and be like, "Nah, I need to put this away. Like I can't do this." And then like you just after doing it a few times, you just really get used to it, and that to me just kind of gave me the self confidence of like I don't care what other people think. Like I don't care anymore. Just I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's what helped me in terms of like building my self confidence. And it's kind of the same with streaming, like the webcam thing, just all that stuff. So
that's
Yeah,
legit though. That's legit, bro.
one thing that I was actually going to touch on, maybe the last thing about, this Twitch topic is I feel that if you just put all your marbles in yourself and your ability to entertain, that's what will kind of, I think, you know, like branch you out from the group. Because let's be honest, man, even if you were to get gold or platinum, how many other people play the same champ that you do at the same elo that you do that are probably streaming? Like, not trying to, say
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but like, and eventually, let's all be serious, eventually, we're not going to be as good as we are even now. Like, real stuff. So if I've always thought that if you're putting your eggs in the basket, all of your eggs in the basket of like, I'm gonna just like hardcore gameplay this out and that's what's gonna
Yeah.
set me apart, I feel like, you know, that's a really difficult path, you know what I mean? But if you work on like what you bring to the table in terms of entertainment and like the type of smiles you put on people's
personality, yeah.
face, yeah, like that will branch you out from the group way faster because, in 5 years from now, I might not be able to play Lee Sin as good as I can, but in 5 years from now, guess what? I might be a bit more funny. I might be, you know what I mean? Like, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's that's why especially with Jack and what we're doing here, and Jack and what he's doing with his rice and fire
Fire and Rice podcast
fire
as
and rice
well.
podcast. Like,
Yeah.
Jack is just
Fire and
allowing
rice.
Jack is just allowing people to see him on more meetings that in different ways too. So it's not just about Jack's gameplay anymore. When people are, now when people are not saying they weren't before, but even more so now, you know, I feel like because we're given insight and soon we're going to have a podcast focused on the boy Jack, I feel like people even more so want to come around for the person, you know what I mean? Because you can go on League and scroll for days and find people, and every one of those people thinks they're some kind of good. Like, you'll rarely find people that are like, I'm a complete shitter and actually mean it. Actually mean
Wait,
it.
what was that perennial like bronze player? What was his name?
Like, yeah, literally, like,
Yeah, that
Oh.
was his shtick. Like he was like bad, and that was
oh,
like
yeah,
unpopular.
Oh, what
I'm
was
like, that's a really unique aspect.
literally. But do
Think
you
of
get
his
what I'm
name.
saying, though?
Yeah, yeah, I
Like,
feel you. But I'll give you an example of what you just said right there. If you scroll through the directory at any given
Kadeem.
moment, oh yeah, Kadeem, that's right. You'll see Diamond, Master, Grandmaster, Challenger players with less viewership than Torchy or I. You'll see that throughout the directory in the League of Legends directory.
Seriously.
What does that tell you? That tells you that skill alone doesn't mean anything.
Unless you're
I mean, if you are a bump on a log and you're so boring to watch, I don't care how good your gameplay is, man. I'm not gonna watch you. Like it's you have to have a little bit of entertainment value.
Yeah.
You have to have a little bit, not even be really entertaining, just slightly entertaining. Just let me know you have a like a pulse, you know, like because like there are some people that literally this game but don't even give a damn. They don't even realize they're streaming. They're over here just playing the game. They're doing all these crazy things in League of Legends that I wish I could do in my dreams. And they're killing the game, but they literally, you don't know if they are like, if they just forgot they had their webcam on or something, because like they're not interacting with you at all. So yeah, that definitely proves a point. And then also like I've been platinum before, believe it or not. I was platinum last season and then demoted back to gold.
I remember.
From gold to platinum, it doesn't change anything. Like you said, it does not change anything. Like I didn't magically just get like 1,000 viewers and stuff. Like, oh my god, I made it in League of Legends. Woo, I'm platinum. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It goes back to the core beliefs that I have. You know, be engaging with your community, be entertaining. Entertaining is a very broad way to say like like entertainment means so many different things. So like you have to break entertainment out a little bit, but just for the sake of like shortening the conversation, like just like put on a show. You know, like be something that people can get enveloped in and forget about like all the other shit that's going on in their life. You know. And that's my angle every day, just to come out there and try to have a good time, make stupid faces, make stupid noises, and try to win some games occasionally, and then just have a good time, relax with some friends, and make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Bro.
Yeah, I know for a fact that for me, at one point, I had to ego check myself on like the whole skill thing will speak for itself. Like you really do have to just, but then at the same time, I found a lot of enjoyment as more people came through to like meet these people. Like I said, it was like a really cool, unique thing that I'd never done before, where I'm interacting with somebody live that I've never seen or met before, and they're just chilling, talking to me about what I'm doing on the screen. And yeah, I mean, yeah, skill can only really get you so far, like I said, unless you're Shroud or whoever, Dizzy or whoever. But
I mean, even Shroud, like you take Shroud as an example, he has extreme skill, but he has some really like dry ass humor that people will like too.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying that Shroud is.
He has extremely
like,
dry humor that maybe doesn't resonate with a lot of people, but some people actually dig that humor that he has. He has some entertainment value there.
Yeah, there is. It's definitely.
Or even Tyler
different.
One. I would say Tyler One, like that dude is
T1.
That dude, like a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people love to hate him, but
I love T1.
He took raging and being toxic and made it a brand. He made it a brand. And he lives off that brand. It is so crazy to see. You meet that guy in person, he's totally the opposite.
He's so nice.
Yeah, he's super chill, nice dude. Like he'll sit there and take pictures with people for hours, not even like scheduled pictures. Then he's super chill. But like on stream, like he puts on the damn show with being toxic, and I like it, man. I love that shit, man. T1, that just shows you another thing. Challenger player, bringing that entertainment value. That's why he's where he's at, because he has both. He has both at maximum levels. A lot of us have one or the other, and those levels may be different compared to others, but he has that entertainment value and he has a skill level at the very top, and that's why you see him at the top all the time. That's why he's a perennial powerhouse in League of Legends.
That's very
if not the best. Him and Yasuo, I think, are like tops or the top streamers in the league.
Yeah.
I feel that. Well, man, I kind of think we did a good little bit on the Twitch topic.
We could easily keep going on and on about Twitch, but real quick, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. So what I want to do is, first off, we'll take a couple questions. Guys, like I said, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat right now. I'm gonna pull some of the questions from Discord real quick, and then we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit more personal stuff, not just the whole Twitch not the Twitch realm. So let's see. Here's a question. This one's kind of random. This one's from GT.
Okay. I like random though.
He words this so weird, so I have to try to reword it into an actual question. His question is mainly just, how are you just such a wholesome person? And I think by that he means just like very genuine, down to earth, like chill, nice dude.
All right, I'll let you guys in the secret. I'm not a wholesome person. I'm a ragey, angry person, man. And honestly, like it's not fake what I'm showing you on stream, but I'm
I was about to ask.
I'm a lot more controlled on stream, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of times like in the game I would like be super pissed off. Like for example, someone being a piece of shit in the game, like I would just I would have a different reaction to it. But I feel like streaming is therapeutic and it makes me like really think about what I'm about to do before I do it. It's not necessarily being fake, but it's like helping me be more self-reflective on the fly and knowing that people don't want to see that stuff, you know, or at least not for me anyways, because
Right.
some toxicity on people is good. For me, toxicity is not a good look. So
I see.
I have to like rechannel that energy. And so what I do is I'll focus on I'll focus on making myself look like an idiot. I'll focus on just being goofy, and I'll just redirect my anger because I have definitely anger issues. Like in general.
I do for sure.
Yeah, in general.
I do for sure.
I just rechannel that anger and me being pissed off into like being goofy, funny, or I don't know about funny, but just like kind of like making myself the butt of jokes and stuff. So I don't mind doing that. I've always been that type of person. Like when things are awkward or when things are really bad, like I'll insert myself into a situation to kind of like put the focus on me. And even if it's in a negative light to where I'm being made fun of or something, then as long as everybody's having a good time, I'm happy. So that's how I do things. So typically that's what happens. I just kind of like filter out that anger and toxicity into a more productive way. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of like what I do.
That makes sense. I have anger issues for sure. Ghosty's in chat. She knows I have some interesting off-stream shenanigans.
Dude, yeah, same way, dude. Same way.
Bro,
like,
literally, I turn it off and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we lost that game, bro. Throwing stuff like
you
actually,
like I'm the disciplinary person with my family and stuff. So like I'm always on like everybody's ass to do stuff, and I'm annoying sometimes. And so like I'm totally like annoying a lot of times, and I feel like I'm annoying because I'm always asking them to do stuff and just just be on top of your kids and stuff. So, but yeah, it's just you just have to kind of you got to reinvent yourself when you stream, and I feel like it's making me like less like angry too, if that makes any sense. Like streaming is helping me more than I'm helping the stream sometimes, which is kind of weird.
Sure.
And I'll get into that later with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I want to take one more question real quick. This one,
Jack.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, brother. As you're asking this question, and are we gonna do Frosty's question? Do you see what I'm saying?
In the Discord?
Yeah.
I'll do that one. We can do two.
Okay.
I got one because this one's a good one.
Okay. As you two answer, my lady's gonna run past so she can go into the room. Okay. I'm just gonna do one of these.
Do one of those.
Yeah,
wait! Don't show the address.
Yeah, don't show your address.
No, I couldn't see it. I couldn't.
Actually. That's an old address. We censor to them, to be honest with you. They mess with them.
Okay. The leaked address on the internet.
leaked. Okay, so here we go. I want to take a question. I got a question from Shelby right here. It's a good one. I like this one a lot.
Nice.
I like this one a lot. What do you think of streamers with big egos? If you ever got big as a streamer, would you still be down to chill with everyone, or would you only for the most part hang out with other big partners / big streamers? That's a good question. It's a really hard one to answer because it's like it's such a big what if. But
yeah, it's a big hypothetical, but honestly, like the politically correct answer would be no. I would still be the same person, but honestly, I don't think I would change because like I'll put it in this term in real life with the way my situation is. Like I like financially, so I'm gonna take this out of streaming for a second just to kind of prove a point for kind of person I am. I literally had we were poor when I was little. My dad got a good job. We became a middle class family, and then my parents divorced, and we became poor again. And so like I've lived in different economic levels. I've never been rich, but I've never been like homeless or anything like that, but we've been pretty close to that. And so like I know like where I come from. I know like the people that have helped me get to where I am in life in general. And so I would never ever put myself above somebody else just because I found success. And as I found success in my career, I was able to support my own family, able to support extended family. And I've always kept myself grounded to the fact that no matter how big you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter what status you have in life, like all that shit doesn't matter at the end of the day, man. You ain't taking that with you when you die. So like, enjoy the people that are around you, enjoy the people that helped you get there, and show them love. Like, and same thing with streaming. If I were to ever like become a big streamer, and like, oh my god, like had all these people like wanted to be my friend, like honestly, I would probably not trust any of those people because they're looking for the cloud at the end of the day, and I would stick with the people that I always knew and were always with me from the beginning. And like, yes, I wouldn't be opposed to meeting new people, but again, I look at those people and I'm thinking like they probably have ulterior motives. They're just trying to use the clout to gain like additional clout for themselves. So I would be more skeptical of any new people coming into my little circle of life than all the people that were there existing. So if we cool now, we gonna be cool no matter what. So that's the way I see it.
I agree with that. I mean, it's so hard to answer such a big what if question, but I just think that, whatever happens, I think the same. Just the OG will always be there, and I'll always be able to be there for you guys too. And I think that it's gonna be different in that I won't be able to read chat as much. It's gonna be scrolling too fast, man. If I ever get that big, man, I always think about the days where it's like, wow, how do people actually read most, if not all, of the chat? Sometimes they may they acknowledge a lot more.
I think the mods pull those out and put them in another channel. I think that's how they do it. And he's looking at the mod channel, they're pulling out the questions and stuff. So I think they do that sometimes, which makes sense because that scrolling stream chat is ridiculous. But I think the mods do that sometimes, especially if there's like questions like added at the streamer. They'll usually just pull them out and put it in a separate chat.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's one way to do it, or at least that's how I would do it if it was like super fast moving.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, I want to take one more question, and then we'll get back into some of the topics that we have here. Which, reminder, guys, definitely thank you for submitting questions. Be sure to keep doing so, and we're gonna do another round kind of near the end. So this one's from Frosty. This is for all three of us. What helps you guys stay motivated towards your goals? Examples, life goals, or just to keep on streaming?
You want to go first,
Steve?
Okay,
go ahead,
brother. Just self-reflection every day. Honestly, like there's days you're gonna not want to do anything. Like today, I felt super unmotivated with everything. Like I didn't want to do anything today. I wanted to be a potato. And like you just kind of have to like self-reflect and realize why you have a goal to begin with, and is that goal still meaningful to you? So you literally have to ask yourself every single day, whatever goal you created, is that goal still valuable to you? Is that goal still meaningful? Like what's the reason you made that goal to begin with? And if you can answer yes, that is still meaningful to you, and yes, that you still care about it, then that's why you're chasing it. So you just kind of reaffirming why you made the goal to begin with. And if you haven't made a goal, period, then you need to make a goal so you can be motivated to do it. But you're going to have down days, and you're just going to have to like get in your head and really think about why you made those goals. And sometimes the goals that you made before are no longer goals you care about. And you can get rid of those goals and take that pressure off yourself, because sometimes that does happen. So it just depends on like what goals or how many goals you have. But typically it's just a reconciliation process in your brain to go through all the goals that you have and make sure that they're still worth your time.
Yeah. I
feel that was well spoken.
Yeah, the whole thing about definitely reviewing the amount of goals that you might have and like take the ones that don't matter as much to you is a really big thing that kind of resonated with me. But I think that for me, in terms of like to keep on streaming or to have that motivation to just like go live, it's really not that hard for me, like because I just enjoy gaming and enjoy this whole like I don't know, this whole Twitch culture thing. I look forward to it pretty much like any free moment that I have. I'm always looking forward to trying to get a game in or whatever. But in terms of staying motivated for like life things like work or going to the gym or whatever, it's like for me, it's like I just have to make sure that I write everything down. Just write down all of my to-dos, and just the act of checking things off has been a really big mental boost for me. And that is what helps me kind of get through the day.
The checklist, it really makes a difference. Like
it's weird. It's like a weird dopamine, mental, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just that mental success, even no matter how small, that's a big thing for me. So I mean, if anybody out there, hasn't tried that, definitely do a checklist and just physically do something to mark it off. It's really, really good.
I do it on my phone all the time.
Yeah. I have a physical notebook like of all like I actually write it down. I write it down, all my work. I really do, and check it off as I go. So that's something for me. Mike, what about you?
You know, man, I feel like my answer is gonna be so much different.
Really?
I like it. I
Okay,
like
I
it.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Every day I go over to my mom's house and she vents to me about what's going on. That's all I need, man. Because I wanna make sure that those problems aren't there, you know, very soon. And a lot of those problems are money oriented. And with my work ethic, I can solve those issues. So that's enough to keep me motivated. And, you know, I mean, you know, my little brother as well. Just family, man. That's all I really need. My personal, like each morning, I get like, because obviously each morning I struggle too, like, oh, motivation, but it takes me just a real quick second, I, I don't know. I just think, don't want my mom to worry. That's just
Bro,
literally all it takes.
I'm with you on
It's
the
so
family thing,
simple,
dude.
I
man.
love that.
It's
I'm
such a
with you on
simple concept in
totally
my head.
with you on that because I mean, I have my daughters, I have my
Yeah,
wife.
I was gonna say
I,
like
This
if I
that
had a
literally
kid,
those
segues perfectly.
those are
man.
external motivators, bro. Like you have to have internal motivations, but you also have external. I mean, if my internal motivators aren't working, like today it wasn't working for me, so I'm like I wasn't motivated. It doesn't take me long to look like you have daughters. They need you. They need you to literally take care of them.
Yeah.
Your wife needs you to help her out. Like you have a family you got to raise, and you got to take care of your stuff. You don't have a time to like be unmotivated. But I wanted to put the previous comment into more of a broader scope because I know not everybody has the same like family responsibilities
Right.
that we might have.
Right.
And so when you're talking about it personally, you're gonna have days where you feel like trash, and that's fine. You may have a couple days or weeks where you feel like trash. You're gonna go through those phases. I go through those phases probably like monthly. I call it my man period, and I just feel like super like emotional, and I don't want to be around people. I'm like irritated and just like I hate life. And then like sure enough, like like the next week comes around and my man period is over, and I'm back to my normal happy self again, and I'm back at it. But you go through those cycles, and you just have to like fight through it. So
Oh, I like that. I need to start using that because I feel like that happens to me all the time. A man period. No joke.
it's a real thing,
I
bro.
actually
It's a real
think
thing.
it has to be a thing, bro.
There's been my friends have used that for a long time. Like my IRL friends was like have talked about it and like how like their husbands or their boyfriends would get like moody like every month. Like it's like it literally is like a guy having his period. So it's really interesting. I was like,
There's
that's true. That is true though. Like we do go through that too.
I don't mean to. The reason I'm looking over is there's legitimately a ghost turning my TV on and off. Like I'm not lying. And we've been
Bro,
having some
Monka
shit happen
better call
with
it
Dude. I
like
saw the
Ghostbusters, bro.
like
light
I'm not
go.
lying,
I
bro.
saw the light go from the side.
We've been
Better call
having
it
like really
Ghostbusters.
weird stuff happening in our house, man, with stuff going missing.
Bro,
And I'm not lying,
Monka.
dude. That thing, it switched inputs. Like that's why I looked because it turned on
No, I saw
and
it
then
turn
it was on
on.
input 3 and then it switched to HDMI 1 and that's why it went bright again. And so I was looking like, what is going on, dude? My bad. No, man,
Nah,
You're
don't worry
good.
about
You're
it.
it
good.
does segue
That's
like great
Monka.
into like the next question because what I a huge factor in my life, man, is just like my family and
Mhm.
how like that, like I say, man, it drives me enough. That's enough fuel, man, to send me to every planet in the solar system, literally. Like it's literally all I need. And I just in a quick 30-second scroll on your pictures on Twitter, seeing your daughters, and you know, when I seen your daughters, I was honestly like surprised because I know you don't got to be that much older than me, and I can imagine like the thought like to be where I'm at now and then to just have twin daughters, like, oh my goodness, man. Like
Yeah.
that has got to be so beautiful, like honestly, and all the anxiety of it, the beauty
I
of
was like,
just
where's the bad side of this, man? You're talking
no,
about
Yeah,
the
no,
good
no,
where is
stuff.
it
no,
going? No, but
because
I
I was like,
feel
what's
that.
the?
so
I was like,
but I
is that
really
beauty? Like that's not the first word
bro,
came to my
because
mind.
right, because it's horrible, but at the same time, like you wouldn't
It's
Yeah.
do it for
horrible,
nothing, you know what I
bro. What
mean?
do you
Like
mean?
you wouldn't do nothing
I'll
like
tell you right
Yeah.
now,
in the midst
he's on point
bro,
with that.
you got because think about it, Jack, bro. You hear you having a baby, you think a baby, and then next thing you know, you find out it's 2. That's not one baby crying, Jack.
That's facts.
That's 2 at night. That's not one shit diaper at night. That's 2.
That's so
think about
true, bro.
this.
You're
Like,
so much
seriously,
older than me
that
at
is a
heart.
that
Oh
is a
my
gut.
god.
That is different, brother. That is so different. And so that's why I'm kind of putting emphasis on this. Like, so just tell me, like, honestly, how much your family like maybe drives you or means to you, or what they,
Well,
just what they do for
yeah,
you mentally. You know what I mean?
yeah, I hear you. I didn't tell you my original intent on jumping on Twitch because like I was watching it for a while, and I had made the account back in 2014, but didn't start till 2017. So what was I doing in between all that time? I didn't actually pull the trigger to start streaming on Twitch until my grandfather passed away. So my grandpa passed away in March of 2017 from cancer and other ailments that he had, and I don't know. You know me, I'm always self-reflecting, and then so as he's laying there on his deathbed, I'm thinking like, am I gonna be happy with my life laying on my deathbed? Am I gonna be fulfilled with my life laying on my deathbed, knowing that I did everything I could or took all the risks I could? And I was like, I really like streaming. I really like video games. I'm still playing video games every day, so why not take a chance on the streaming thing? If it doesn't work, so what? The least I can say I tried, you know. And so, like when my grandpa passed, it just really like shook me to my core, and I was like, I'm going to jump into this. And he was like a father to me, so when I lost him, it was like losing my dad. And so, obviously, it was like very devastating. And the streaming at first was literally therapeutic for me to help me deal with the loss of my grandpa. And so that's what drove me to begin with in this whole process. And fast forward to this year, I lost my brother in March as well. Sadly, like literally, like 2 years later, I lose my brother the same month, and it just reinforced like why I stream and like why I do what I do, because we all have gone through stuff in our life. Some people obviously more extreme than others. Oh, I'm about to burp. Sorry, more extreme than others, but like I just want to show people that you can persevere through whatever life is thrown at you and come out okay on the other end. Some of us deal with stress and all this adversity differently, but I want to be like living proof and be the strength for folks that may not have the strength themselves to get through whatever the hell they're going through, whether it be financial hardship, loss of family members, breaking up with your wife, or breaking up with your girlfriend and divorcing your wife, or just all the different things in your life that might be happening, substance abuse, like you can overcome all these obstacles, and we can do it together. And I will show you that I've done it. I will lead by example and show people that they can overcome all this stuff and still be functioning productive people in this world, and help inspire others themselves to overcome whatever issues they're going through. So I think at the end of the day, like my brother passing, although it was like probably the worst feeling I've ever had in my life, just with how it happened in my relationship with my brother at the end, I think he helped me realize like what my purpose was with this whole streaming thing, with just my life in general. And he gave me additional clarity that my grandpa had started for me like 2 years prior to that. So it's just family at the end of the day, like you said, Mike, it's extremely important to me. I have extremely unrealistic expectations for my family. I am harder on my family more than I am on anybody else. And I do it purposely because I want them to be the best people they can be. And so with that comes a lot of disappointment and anger. So I have to reel that in sometimes. That's where the anger part comes in, because I expect too much on purpose to drive them to meet their full potential. So when it comes to like being motivated and driving things, like the family is always there, right there on my shoulder, right there in the back of my head, like pushing me to move forward and just keep going. And I really love the streaming thing, and it's therapeutic. Like I said, I've said that a few times already. It's therapeutic. It helps me express myself. I don't think I would ever talk about my situation the way I talk about it in real life. So I think streaming to me is my way of getting the therapy I need in my life to deal with the issues that I've had, because I'm not a person that's going to sit here and just tell you all about my feelings like in person. Like that's just not me. I wouldn't do that. But on stream, it feels a little bit different, because like I know other people out there probably dealing with similar situations, and it makes it not so, I don't feel as self-centered when I explain it, because I'm trying to relate to others. I'm not necessarily saying, oh, poor me, I'm not even saying that. Like I'm just saying, hey, this should happen, but it's not the end of the world. Like my world's still going, and not to keep pushing on. I have a family, I have my daughters, I have my wife, I have everybody else still depending on me at the end of the day, and I can't just stop just because I lost my brother or because I lost my grandpa. I just got to keep pushing on and keep fighting. And people and talking to my community, I'm like, you guys have people that care about you and depend on you too, even though you may not feel like it, even though you may feel alone, you may feel isolated from the world, you may feel like no one gives a shit about you, but I guarantee you there's someone out there that really cares about you and loves you, and they want you to keep fighting too. So that's kind of like my angle with this whole thing, is just to keep fighting, keep pushing on, and when you can't do it, I'll help push you across the finish line or pull you.
Damn.
I feel that,
That is
man. Man,
beautiful,
well
bro.
spoken. My man is a
Jesus.
scholar with the words, bro. Can I get Confucius, please? Like, that's, bro, for real though. I respect that so much, man.
Yeah, me
Seriously.
too.
You know, so one thing that, it's kind of crazy. As you were sitting here talking, one thing that I kind of thought is it's insane that all three of us kind of have what, I think I have a very strong, beautiful woman behind me, and I would imagine that you two would feel that you guys have that as well.
Yeah,
And
I would agree.
I think that I know what my lady does for me, and just my everyday. And I mean, I think I literally told her today, like, if you're my partner, if you're not giving me the honest criticism, no one will. I can't expect
Yeah.
it from nobody.
Yep.
So if I don't get it from you, everyone's going to be sugarcoating to me. And so,
That's true.
just with that being said, man, my question is, how much, has your wife done for you in terms of, pulling yourself out of dark spaces? Or and I also want to tie this in, if you could also just maybe talk about your wife and how you guys, met and how long you've been together, that would be awesome too, man. I'm really curious about, your relationship with her, just because I understand what mine is like with my lady.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in case you're wondering, I'm 31 years old. I met her when I was 19 years old, and I met her through a mutual friend. We just met. We both knew this one person, and that's kind of how we met. That we were introduced through this one person, and we we just started dating like probably a couple months after we met each other, and then the rest is history. We've been through a lot of stuff together as a couple. I mean, anything from her running away from her family's house to us getting stranded in Mexico, to getting into car accidents, to having unplanned pregnancies, to just fighting, like typical relationship. You're obviously going to fight throughout the duration of time. Like there's so many different things that have happened in our relationship that's kind of helped galvanize us and make us stronger together. So I think all those different problems and adversities that we face together helped us become stronger and more like capable of supporting one another. So like if we wouldn't have had faced all these troubles together, I don't know if we would be the same relationship we are today, because we've been through those experiences together. We have that to share with one another. We have the passion. We have the support. I mean, she's been there for me when no one else has been. Like I said, when my family was basically dysfunctional and I had no parents because of like substance abuse or anything like that, like she was there for me. Or her family was there for me. She supported me in probably the lowest points of my entire life, and even when I didn't deserve to be supported, she was there for me. So she's really had my back when no one else has, and that'll always be something that'll be special to me. And so like knowing that someone like that has your back and is willing to like do anything for you, I mean, you only feel right to give the same amount back. And I'm the same way with her. Like I'll be there for her no matter what. Like even when her parents and her were having problems, when she ran away from her house, I was there helping her run away. Like there's just so many things that just happened that we were there for one another. Whenever she got stuck in Mexico, like we were there. I would go see her and stuff. Like it was just so many like crazy things happened. When she got pregnant, I reassured her that regardless of what she decided to do, because we weren't necessarily going to have the girls at first. Like we didn't know what we wanted to do. And I didn't pressure her at all. I was like, whatever you want to do, I support you 100%. Like, I know this this is unplanned. We don't necessarily have the finances to support a kid. We only thought it was one at the time. And I'm like, we don't have the finances for this. So I was like, whatever you want to do, I support you 100%. Like, and if you want to go through with having the baby, like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm a man. I'm going to take care of the babies. They're mine, And so like just being there to support her and let her know that like no matter what, like I'm gonna be there for her. Like even through the roughest times, even when we had the rocky relationship afterwards and stuff, like it's doesn't matter. You shake it off and you keep pushing through. I'm a person that doesn't like to like really run away from my problems. I like to like deal with them head on and get to the root cause. So
I feel that, man. I respect that a lot. I kind of connect with you on that aspect because literally there were times, man, when I didn't expect no one to be around me, nobody. And I was not necessarily lashing out at everybody, but I just wasn't a positive person to be around. And I felt like everything at the time was kind of everything around me that was just dipping as well. And, Kimberly was a person that in a time where I felt like that, this girl who's just, drop dead gorgeous, who at any point, if she wanted, could just check out and be with a guy 20 times me, like literally, is still here and like still
yeah,
is
I can
like
relate, man.
honest with
I'm the ugly
me,
person in a relationship too. Don't worry, I can relate.
man. And even more so, like,
we're the ugly ducklings in the relationship. Don't worry.
yeah, man, it's crazy. And I feel like even more so because I don't really, I'm not a part of her culture that much, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would make it even more easy in those moments for her to be like, you know, this guy, doesn't really connect with my parents because there's a language difference, like,
Oh, trust me, I'm the same
whatever,
Yeah,
you
boat with
know what
that
I
I know
too.
mean?
that
So
My
like,
100%.
my chick's family, most of them speak Spanish, and I don't speak
yeah,
Spanish,
I don't
and
either.
so
And
I'm like, "Hola, cómo
literally,
estás?"
and
That's all
I
I
mean,
say.
even to this day,
And
man, everyone,
wait,
go
hold
ahead,
on. I
bro.
want to say this, okay, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I've attempted more because I'm such a disgrace at speaking Spanish. For all you Spanish speakers out there, I'm sorry I offended you with my Spanish, but I use Google Translate, guys. Google
For
Translate.
real.
I use Google Translate to communicate, so that's literally what I do. Like, and it has the text to speech or text to voice, whatever, TTS, and so I'll use that and I'll communicate doing that. And the family's cool because they can communicate with me more. But literally, that's what I do. And I've been trying to learn Spanish on the side. Just trying to make time for it is kind of hard. But I feel you on the language barrier, man. That's tough. That's tough,
I'm
bro.
pretty surprised that
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
sitting here kind of with my jaw dropped because I didn't really think about that. I could probably have actual conversations with my girlfriend's
Yeah,
dad.
Bro, I
I
did
should
that.
do
I did
that.
that. I did
I
that
wonder
before,
if
dude.
that, yeah. I
Wow,
wonder
that
how
is
Do
well
it.
that would,
Download
does it
it. Download
work
it, bro.
really well?
Yes,
Because
it
I'm just
does. It
thinking like,
translates very well, dude. Enough for them to understand what you're trying to say. I mean, obviously there's
well,
some slang
yeah.
words that's not going to translate well, but if you're using like they're going to know the proper language, so they'll be able to do it. So
that's
it'll be good.
crazy. Yeah, man. No, I feel that 100%, dude. And you know, Jack, I want to hear about you and Ghosty, man, a little bit because you're the one who's being the most quiet right now.
Bro, you
And
know why?
we
So
even
I
call her
knew I was gonna,
Ghost,
I
like
knew I was gonna
Casper.
get, I knew I was gonna get called out for being quiet. It's just because like, after just hearing more and more about Steve and hearing more and more about you, like, bro, I'm just speechless because like I just respect both of you guys so much. Like, Mike, you're younger than me. Steve, you're older than me. Excuse me, man. I don't even want to start getting choked up right now, but um, yeah, I don't know. Just like I just personally feel that this is what the whole thing's about, is just really getting to learn more about each other. But I just feel like I look up to both of you guys as like role models for me. Like, just I've said this to you, Mike, before, just the way that you and the way you treat your relationship is just so inspiring to me. And just to hear about you, Steve, about all of the things that you've gone through, and like to be able to just be such a supportive husband and family man is just so like inspiring to me. So that's why I'm so quiet, is because I'm just speechless at just these two amazing people in front of me. Like, I don't know. So, but Mike, what was your question like to me?
No, I just want to know, like, really just your thoughts, man. How is we're kind of all sharing about, what our lady has kind of, how they've been kind of the rocks for us. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of want to hear maybe, you don't have to go on for too long about,
sure.
a story, but just something kind of quick that maybe you could tell us about, something maybe Ghosty has helped you with in terms of your personal life. Maybe something like with
Yeah.
confidence, or I don't know,
No, I know exactly what you're saying. And for me, it happens like pretty much every day. But I really, it's funny because like just in this last week, I've thought about it more. It's just the fact that she will just check me when I'm like, acting out and acting real stupid. Like,
You
just
definitely need to hold on to
I,
everything because that's
yeah,
exactly what you need. That's what we all need, dude. We all need that checks and balance.
yeah,
We can't just overrun the other person
'Cause
in
there
a
ain't no
relationship.
man that's gonna come and check me to my face right now. I'll
facts,
give you my address. Check
facts,
me, brother. because you would check me over the internet. But that's why I got, I'm kind of being the tough guy funny right now, but it is really true, man. There aren't many men
They can
that
try to
will
check me, but
come
I'll
up
call
to
the
you, man.
police.
Get the number out, bro. Get on speed dial. Where's the phone, bro?
Save
I'm
me,
here in
sons
5
of a
minutes,
gun!
bro.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's like I said, at times I'm just very emotional, and I don't think I necessarily have like anger management issues, but like I get a little worked up, or I get really like cold shoulder, and it's like, yeah, just she'll just give it to me straight, and like put me back into like a really happy, just chill mode that most people know me for. And like I don't like being in a rut, but sometimes it just happens, and I guess I'm on my man period or whatever.
The man
but
period happens.
yeah,
Man.
like it happens, and I don't know. She's just really good at trying to get me out of that, and it just makes my quality of life better. So that's what I appreciate for sure.
You know, man, one thing that I feel like I'm not a big believer in much, but I feel like life has been throwing some serious lessons at me for the way I used to like look at like just how my outlook used to be, because I used to be so just like not confrontational, but just
I'm extremely
you can
confrontational,
get
so I
it
feel you. I feel you,
like
dude. I'm the same way.
and I
I
don't
always, I
understand.
always play devil's advocate in every situation. Like I am
Yeah,
that guy. Even if I don't
and
agree with the argument or the opinion that I'm arguing, I still do it anyways to kind of get people to think about things. I'm with you on
yeah,
confrontational. That's me 100%.
and I just feel like because of that, I understand that pit in your stomach. I'm real familiar with that feeling that you get when it's about to get real dicey. And I don't. And one thing that I kind of ride on with my relationship is I don't even want to arrive to the doorstep of that feeling. Like I don't even want to pull up to the driveway of that feeling. Like seriously, because
Yeah, I
I
feel
know
you.
what kind of person I am once I get near that point. And if I really love Kimberly, I do not want to put her through that because she does not deserve that. And
Yeah, I feel you.
every day you just gotta you just gotta live by that, man. We're men. If if you're instilling fear, if you're instilling negative feelings into your woman, you know, what are you doing, man? That's
True.
how I look at it.
This is
And
true.
I kind of want to swap topics here, and it's still on family, but it's something that I kind of wanted to touch on earlier was about, you
Leave
know, when they're kind of flaming me, bro, for the
She's a known thing
it's
here for the
oh
people that
yeah,
know.
it's all
She's a known
gravy.
thing.
But one thing that was extremely surprising and is still extremely surprising is to me how well you handled the passing of your brother. Now, obviously, I don't know anything in terms of like your guys' relationship, but I know what blood is, and even if you're like half brothers, you know what I mean? It's still blood,
Yeah.
and especially to lose a sibling to something like that, for you to be back streaming as quickly as you were, and for you to even be on the podcast right now, and for you, I mean, that speaks super volumes to I think a couple of things. Uh, your ability to just head down and grind through things, and also I think you realize that this Twitch thing is a train as well, and that if that train passes you up, that momentum that can hurt you. And so I think that now that could be a complete assumption on my end, but I feel like there is no way if I was in your shoes, I would have been back. Man, I wouldn't be here right now, like
I know
doing the
some people
Yeah,
podcast.
probably
Like,
wouldn't
yeah.
even come back.
man,
Yeah, I feel you.
like seriously,
Like
man, like it's so
to
deep,
address that
bro.
though, like it's not about the Twitch thing at all. Like at the end of the day, it's if I'm able to do it, I'm able to do it. But that never crossed my mind. The whole thing with me coming back was more. It was. I'm gonna be honest. I was selfish because I know that like other people are gone through like the stuff that I'm going through, and I wanted to be around people that have been through shit. They've been in the shit, and I wanted to surround myself with the people that were in the shit, and I wanted to know that I'm not alone. Because the more you realize you're not alone in the situation, the easier it is for you to understand that these people are still living their lives. So why the fuck are you any different? They get your shit together and keep moving. Like
Wow.
how many people in the world have lost a brother? How many people in the world lost a loved one? It hurts. Like I cry randomly every day. Like, and like the other day, my mom got us his ashes, and like we have them in a necklace. And we actually put my grandpa's ashes, and like just getting this necklace like made me cry. Like I cry every freaking day with my brother, and it's gonna hurt me for the rest of my life. And my relationship with him was probably the worst it could be when something like that happens, because of like where he was in his life and how he had isolated himself from his family, and how he was abusing drugs and alcohol, and he just kind of like isolated himself from his whole, he had burned all his bridges and stuff. And so like he was on his own when he passed away. Like he probably died thinking nobody loved him, and that's probably why he did it. And I will always live with that regret in my heart, and I will always live with that pain that I wasn't there, that I could have did more to like help him out, you know. But I'm not gonna let that shit stop me though. I cannot change what I've already not done. You know, I can't change my past. I can't change my actions from then. The only thing I can do now is like focus on like what I can do to be a better person, and just educate people on being there for their siblings. You know,
Yeah.
you just gotta be there for those people, man.
Yeah.
You gotta you have to just learn from your mistakes and make sure other people don't make the same mistakes you did, because you never know when that will happen, and you just gotta keep pushing through. And that's been my angle with the whole thing. It's like I gotta get the word out to people so they don't fuck up like I did. And I know I'm not alone, and that I can't just abandon everybody because I'm going through something. You know, people depend on me too, and my just like my family depends on me. My community depends on me to be there to help them get through their stuff, and we'll get through it together. And that's literally my mindset with that. And it's not about like growing or anything like that. It's just simple as that.
Man, and seriously, man, so I kind of like touch on why I connect with that so seriously is, man, it took me months, and seriously, sometimes I still struggle with understanding loss. And one concept that I seriously struggle with is how us as humans have just accepted that we can't solve aging. Like, think about that. Like, we innovate everything, we solve everything. Humans fucking trash everything. If you really think about this for a second, I know it sounds crazy to think about, but like, we have just looked at aging and looked at loss and just thrown the towel in. And just now, if you like go down the deep end a little bit, there's actually some really high up people starting to look into this. And it's just crazy to me, man, because in 2018, man, I lost three literally childhood friends. And I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood. um and I kind of like think about these people that I encountered. I spent literally 6 or 7 summers at the same basketball court, and that's where I learned how to play basketball. That's where I met like all my connections in basketball. And literally, like, the majority of them, but like 2 or 3 people are gone from suicide or gun violence. Some
Yeah,
like just absolute, like, and the one that was really tough was, just last year, good friend of mine, Deshaun Perryman, on his birthday, on his 21st birthday, flung out his front seat window, man, driving 8 a.m. drunk on his own. And it's just like, you know, that dude was the most, like, obviously, drinking and driving, but the most positive person at, it's just crazy, man, that people can just, it's such a crazy concept that people can just be here one day and then not. That's such an insane concept. And seriously, when we were talking about earlier what kind of motivates you, I didn't really want to bring this up because it gets really dark really quick, man, but I have this clock in my head, man. And so when I say that, like, I look at my mom and I'm like, do I want her to keep worrying? I have this clock, man. My mom has an illness that is not, it's not good in the long run. And because of that, I've always felt like against the clock in terms of my own life, like wanting to just like be successful. But that makes it even more against the clock in my head. And knowing how loss is, like, one day here, the next not, like, literally, and it fucks me up, man. And so that's why I commend you, man, because I mean those were childhood friends, and it sent me it sent me through just a whirlwind, man. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes I still get fucked over it. And the fact that it was a sibling, dude, I just look at the people in my circle and in my life and people close to me, and it makes me. I'll be honest with you, man. When I seen that tweet, it made me. My brother's currently locked up, man, and he's currently going through some pretty crazy things. And all right, we're gonna have to change the topic soon because I don't like to get emotional. But so it made me wanna, help a little more. Made me wanna, push a
just
little harder in the morning. And
simply just reaching out, like a text or a phone call, man. Like when my brother passed, like I looked at my phone, and the first thing I did was like, when was the last time I talked to my brother? And it had been a month since I had talked to him last. A month, a whole month went by before I talked to him. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you, Steve? Why didn't you reach out to him more? Like, regardless of all the stuff that he was putting us through as a family, like I could have did more. And so like that's what it boils down to for me. It's like I can't change the fact that he's not here with me anymore. I can't change the fact that he was struggling with all the stuff that he was struggling with. I can't change any of that stuff. I can't change what I did in the past that may have contributed to his demise. It's like all I can do is help people that are going through that, because I've seen my family go through like those tough times, and dealing with the loss of a family member and making sure we're proactive and knowing the signs. Like I can help with those things. And so I, my main focus now going forward is just like just education on my experience, and trying to help people be strong, because it's not easy to do it. Like you said, it's not easy. I honestly don't know why or how I do it either. Like, but I just feel, sometimes I feel like I'm a robot or something. I swear, dude, because I can turn my emotions off like a light switch. And when it's
yeah, man,
time
I swear.
when it's time to compartmentalize like an emotion, like I put it away, and then I'm back to business, dude. It's like I don't understand. Like it it's been like that for me since I can remember, and maybe that's my defense mechanism for dealing with grief and sadness and stuff or whatever. But like I've always been able to flip a switch and just move on. Like always, like I've lost friends too, like you said, like for gun violence stuff like that. I've lost friends like that too. I've lost other family members, and like even when my grandpa passed away, like he was like a dad to me. It was like losing my dad, and like I was devastated for like a couple days, but then I just like a kid. I think having children honestly is like the main contributor to me being able to move on, because I can't like I look at my daughters and
That
I'm
would
like
make a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
I was like
I have to be honest.
I can't sit here and just like mope around and be in my feelings all day when my daughters need me,
I think that
like
that one variable changes the entire topic. Honestly, I really
it
do.
does. It's the driving factor. It's like I said, that's your external motivator for when your internal motivator is broken or not working. You need those external motivators to keep you going. And my daughters are that external motivator for me whenever I can't do it, and when I'm feeling sad and defeated and depressed. Like they still want daddy to play with them. They still want daddy to help them with stuff. They still want daddy to do stuff for them. So like I got to get up and do it. And I got to keep pushing on for them. And it's it is what it is. I don't know. Some people can do it. Some people can't.
Man, this kind of, I think, bridges onto like one of the last things that I kind of wanted to, talk to you about and kind of see your perspective on is I grew up in a household that was very much, no emotion, very much. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what the definition of compartmentalize is. All I know is I swallow shit. If that's what
It's the same thing.
compartmentalize
It's the same thing.
means.
You like section off your brain,
Okay.
and you turn
Okay.
that part of your brain off. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like I have this sadness about this. I'm gonna put it over here in the corner of my brain and lock it up and not deal with it.
No, yeah, I just
So that's the same thing. You swallow it. Same thing.
yeah, and of course, I just realized how that could have been taken the horrible way. But anyway, so how how do you deal now as a man? I know it's a little bit different, or maybe it's even a little bit worse because you have daughters, or like children at all. How do you deal with like managing emotion, and I guess like also, so one, how do you deal with managing emotion, and then when you are feeling those negative emotions, uh, do you have this like conflicting feeling inside of like, you know, like you shouldn't even be feeling that way to begin with, and so it's like this war of like, you know, you're feeling shitty, but then you're feeling shitty because you feel
I feel
shitty.
shitty.
You see what
Yes,
I'm
I understand. Yeah, I don't really get
saying?
those feelings though. Like I'll feel really sad or unmotivated, but then like I'll find like the thing that takes my mind off it, which would be a hobby. My hobby obviously is streaming and gaming. So like this is my default like get me off of my ass like mode. Like every time I'm feeling a certain way, streaming or even going to the gym helps me too. Like those two things combined, like usually like are my medicine to get me through like those feelings. And like showing emotion, like I think that's where I need to go see a therapist because I don't show emotion enough, and I feel like that eventually will just explode one day, and I'll have all
Mm,
this like ridiculous emotion come out of me. That hasn't happened yet over the past 31 years of my life, but I'm probably like a ticking time bomb. Eventually, something's gonna come out, and it's not gonna be good. So I think I need to definitely seek therapy because I don't think it's normal that I'm this way after loss like that, after dealing with all this stuff and other personal issues in my life, like all this other stuff happening all at once at the same time of my brother passing away. It's like it's you shouldn't be okay.
No, yeah,
You
really,
know what
man.
I
That's
mean?
not
Like,
even.
so it's kind of weird. So, but yeah, I mean, I always tell people like, "What's your hobby?" And they gotta have a hobby and not a passive hobby. Like a lot of people will say, "Well, I like to watch TV." I'm like, "Well, you're not even
right.
you're not even using your brain in that regard.
Yeah.
Like you're just sitting there passively and you're thinking about other things, and the TV isn't really distracting you from like your issues. And so like you need a hobby that's going to keep you active, either your body active or your mind active, and it can't be like a passive hobby. And so like, and obviously don't go to destructive hobbies like drinking or going out and stuff
Right.
like that, because then
Right.
that's going to be a whole nother can of worms. So you got to look for like a healthy, productive hobby that is either making you be active physically or mentally. And I feel like doing those things will help you get over the hump on whatever you're feeling in your brain at any given time. And that's why I said with streaming is intellectual because I have to manage a game, I have to manage a chat, I have to manage like keeping everybody entertained, and I have to like kind of juggle these things all at once. And it's like I don't have time to think about anything else. Like I'm just focused on that. And same thing with my life in general. Is like I schedule all these things in my life, so I don't have any downtime to be sitting there in my feelings thinking about things. Like I'm constantly staying busy. So if I'm keeping myself busy, same thing when we were growing up. Like you played sports to stay out of trouble, because if I didn't have sports, I'd probably be running the streets like who knows, like selling drugs or
Swear.
being in a gang or something.
Yeah.
Like I played sports to stay out of trouble. I didn't play sports because it was something great. I did it because my parents didn't want me to get in trouble as a kid. And same thing with now as an adult. I do all these activities. I fill my life up with all these things to stay busy, so I'm not sitting here and on my bed or laying in my bed like crying about my brother being dead. Like
I feel that,
I
bro.
rightfully could be doing, but I'm not, because that's not what I'm sure that's not what he would want me to be doing. I'm sure he wouldn't. That was never his intent to hurt the family even further by taking his own life. Like I know that he was in a bad place. He didn't know how to deal with it, and that he did what he thought was best. And like I said, we just have to work with that and use that as a learning experience and educational tool to help others. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm focusing all my energy on. And every time I get to like that point where you're saying where you fucking feel like a piece of shit and you feel like you're more of a piece of shit because you're already in your feelings, like just go back to those hobbies, go back to those things that really motivate you and get you moving, and try to do those. And if you don't have any hobbies out there, chat, get some type of hobby, please, because it'll help. It
Yeah.
helps so much.
Just be an
Man,
enthusiast of something. That's like my biggest thing for in terms of like a hobby. Like
Yeah.
outside of the whole streaming and gaming thing, because it's turned into like what it is. I don't want to call it like a business. I don't really want to call it a job because it's not. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like I treat it
Yeah.
like a business. But like I'm just an enthusiast of technology. Like I have all these
Exactly.
random
Yeah.
mice that I collect and keyboards, and I customize my keyboards, and that's my hobby. Like I invest in technology and like new peripherals and stuff like that. But I mean, I agree. Like you really have to just. I've had a few. I feel like definitely less. But I've had my share of really, really dark times and people that I've lost. And I mean, maybe that's just something to go into on a different thing because, you know, but for me, it was the same thing. It was during the day, school and sports, and then after school, just video games to really just keep me not only out of trouble, but just like you said, really not thinking about it's just ultimately it's just a distraction.
It
to
is.
help.
It's escapism. Like,
Yeah,
you're
it
keeping
really
yourself
is.
busy. You're so busy focused on something else that you don't have time to think about anything else. And it doesn't
And
necessarily have to be video games to replace either. It could be
it can be.
anything.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying for
yeah,
me it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And
For me, it's video games too. I'm the same place.
yeah, and I think that, to an extent, I believe that it's good to at sometimes have those, times to be able to reflect and whatever. Like for me, I did have times where I was just like, really sad, and I think it's just natural. But at the same time, I agree. You don't want to be stuck in that the whole time, and it's
That's a dark place to go, and it's
Yeah.
hard to get out of once you get there, and
yeah,
it takes a lot of work.
yeah.
Man, you know what, man? I feel like we've been kind of, we spent a good little bit on, some darker little bit gloomier topics. Right before I feel like we send this thing out, I kind of want to run just off the top of my head a couple like random, weird little quick get to know Steve questions, if you don't mind. Cool?
Sure, of course.
Okay, man. You're stuck on an island. You can only bring one game, one album, and one TV series.
Does he have internet for the game? Like, can it be multiplayer? Or does it have to be a single player game?
Fuck.
You see the
If
you
it's
see
a
the
multiplayer
issue?
game, there is no communication because he cannot call for help.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
so,
well,
So
okay.
wait, one game, one what? What's
You know
the
what
other
I
ones? A movie and what else?
an album, like music.
Oh,
like,
music. Okay, so movie, music, game. Those three. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
sir.
easy. I got this. Okay, it's Suikoden 2, The Last Samurai, and Linkin Park Hybrid Theory.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Okay, man.
Yeah,
Yo, I
those are my
respect
three.
all of that. Yo, The Last Samurai is the real deal. I respect
Yeah,
that
what?
one, man. Hey, okay, man. Jack,
I could watch the movie over and over. Yeah, I want to hear
I'll-
Jack. So let's see this.
go ahead, Jack.
Okay, wait. Video game?
hmm
You said it can be multiplayer, there's just no comms.
Yes, sir.
I mean, like,
No
obviously I
comms.
wouldn't if this is the scenario, I wouldn't like try to call for help, but okay, what video game would I play? What video game would I play endlessly? Holy. Bro, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If the no, because it has to be in the current time. I was gonna say something like Modern Warfare 2, if it was still if it wasn't dead. But if it was that's the thing. Is like it's a dead game now. So
That was such a great game, dude.
but I spent
Such
so
a
many
great game.
hours I could play it forever. Gee. Okay.
That was a life. The Noob 2 was my life.
Yeah. No, I tried everything in that game, man. I put so many hours. It's insane.
So much trick shotting in that game is ridiculous.
I was a part of all bits and all facets of that game. The trick shotting, the noob tube, the exploits, the
360
competitive,
no-scopes.
yeah. 1v1 me on
My
Rust
life.
Bros.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Oh man. But honestly, I could replay that story over and over too. So I mean,
That's a good storyline too.
it
Yeah,
had a
for
really
sure.
good one. Okay. Let's see. So it'd be probably Modern Warfare 2 album. Oh, bro. I don't know, dude. I'm going to be honest. This is a really whack answer, but I would probably just re-listen to the soundtrack of Star Wars 4.
Hey, that's
I could
your
do
thing,
it.
bro.
I
Go
think
with
I
it. Hey, I
could-
like the orchestra. I like the orchestra.
That's
bro.
why, like, if I was just
I can
needing,
listen to that music too.
It has-
that is not a bad choice.
it has a bunch of different
And those tracks are long too, aren't they?
they're long and
yeah,
they
so like
fit
if you
different
repeat them over and
scenarios.
over again, it'll take up a good chunk of your for sure.
Yeah. You'd be like, okay, I'm watching the sunset. I might as well turn on Luke's theme. I'm really sad. Ben Kenobi just died. I'm alone on an island.
Wow, you got it for
I'm
all
gonna
the moods.
go on a
all the
run.
moods.
I need to get the Death Star attack going, and I'm jogging it up on the beach.
Yeah, he's got it all planned out.
Lord.
Yeah, dude.
Man's gonna
Everyone's
have a
like,
toy
bro, this
lightsaber with
kid
it."
is whack, dude. Dude, you don't even want to. When we get to my episode, I'm collecting all the lightsabers from upstairs. I'm showcasing every single one I got.
Bro,
Okay?
I gotta see
God.
that. I
Facts.
gotta see that.
Okay.
That'd be dope.
Movie,
Movie.
brother.
Movie. Oh, bro. What would I watch over and over? This is gonna also be a really stupid one. It's either gonna have okay. I'm gonna go with Nacho Libre. Over and over. I literally
Ooh, you can
quote
rewatch
that-
it over and over.
I literally watch and quote that movie so much that like
I have a
could-
confession. I've never seen that movie.
yeah, dude, that movie.
I need to watch that. We need to do
A movie night.
a rabbit. Yeah, we need to wrap it that real quick.
Yeah, Mikey
Okay.
had the other answer. I was gonna say Rush Hour 2, but
Yeah, Rush Hour 2 is a good one too.
that's
That was a
like
good
that's
one too.
just too good.
Okay, so all right. I think my album would have to be Scorpion by Drake
Oh,
because
whoa. Okay, we're going
there's
recent.
so many
There's a lot
songs
of songs.
Yeah, here's a
and
ton.
there's so many different feels
That's
on
true.
the
I think it's all
album.
over too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
could get real amped
all
up
the
with
range.
mob ties and start chopping some trees or start hunting some shit. You know, or I could get like real cool and mellow with some Sandra's Rose. You know what I mean? I could be, you know, it's all over the place. Movie. Oh shit. Wait, I'm gonna do game first. Game Skyrim. I've
Ooh, yeah, that's a
already,
good one. That's a
I've
good one.
You
already
could
beat
That's a really
easily
good
Skyrim
one.
play
That
it.
has so much
Oh,
time too.
yeah, there's
So much
combined.
replayability.
I forgot.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
have
one.
so much time in that game.
That's
It's
good.
sad. I'm not even gonna say how
Dang
much.
it,
It's
I
too
don't know why I
much.
didn't think about that. That's really good.
I was
And
trying
you
to
need
think
the
of,
Elder
I
Scrolls
was trying to
games,
think
dude.
of a single player like open world, and I just didn't think of that. Gee.
That's a
And
good one.
then my movie would have to be shit. My
The
movie would.
movie's a hard one.
That
Yeah,
was
the
super
movies
easy
are
for me.
hard.
That was
Really?
like I was on it, dude.
Really?
Yeah, because
Oh
I've had
my
favorite movies
god.
like growing up. Like my favorite movie when I was a kid was The Rock,
Yeah.
with Sean Connery and
Oh,
Nicolas
and
Cage.
Nick Cage with the
Wow.
little
Yeah, that
green.
was.
That's
I
from Modern.
killed that
That's a
movie.
Modern Warfare 2. They
Yeah,
like
yeah,
remade
yeah.
that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, so literally it was The Rock and then the Ninja Turtles live action movies back in the day, like with Vanilla Ice, all those. Like I killed all those movies. Like those are my movies, and then The Rock, and then it moved into Last Samurai. And I haven't had a movie replace Last Samurai since. So that's my
Dang.
I'll
thing.
be honest. I think that my movie would be Wolf of Wall Street. I gotta be
Well, that's a
honest.
good one too. That
Because
was hilarious.
Wolf
okay.
of Wall Street,
Yeah.
man, when Leo gets on that stage and he gives that speech, you know, about like, I come in with a $40,000 suit and a $10,000 gold watch, and it's just like, I want to solve your problems by being rich. Like that shit had me hype, and there's just so many different feels in that movie. I could watch
Yeah.
the movie and over again.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, man.
Hey, he's so good in that movie. He's crazy, dude.
Man,
I
well,
like that.
I gotta be honest, bro. I feel like this was a great conversation. I feel like honestly, like me and you, we could be good friends, man. I connect with you on a lot of
Yeah,
good
dude.
stuff, man, and you know, I definitely look forward to the more competitive, you know, uh, stream wars, as you're saying, more competitive.
We'll have to up our game for sure. We'll have to come a little bit more
All I'm
strategic.
saying is, don't ban my Lee Sin.
I will make sure to
That's all
target ban
I'm
that.
They're
talking
Don't
about.
worry.
going to
We got the
ban
target ban.
it, bro. They've
Dude,
been
target ban,
banning
bro.
everything that we play.
Ban out.
I banned all Torchy stuff too, and
Yeah,
folks,
dude.
freaking Alistar.
They
Like
take
I got
Alistar off the table.
banned the Vygar, banned the Alistar.
They think
Man.
I play Ash, even though that's the only thing I play in 2v2, so I never play it ever.
All right, I'm gonna
They
ban
play.
out
They
the
ban Lee
Kai'Sa. I banned out the
Sin.
Caitlyn and Kaisa.
Bro,
I just
he's been
hope-
looking at my match history.
Yeah, no, I just don't
Come
look at my
on.
matches.
I've been watching your streams.
Come
What are you talking
on,
about? I've been watching
dude.
your streams, bro. I
Come
can see you.
on.
I just hope nobody does no research into my match history because they see quick as fuck what I'm playing and what's strong. And they would ban the hell out of
We'll
it.
do some research before. We
We-
gotta make it more
yeah.
competitive for sure.
We do the research. You do the research. It's gonna be a good time.
Hell yeah.
Oh my! I mean, okay.
Hell
So with this whole episode, I mean, it's crazy because I couldn't find. I wanted to just sit back and listen. So it was really nice. Thanks, Mike, for helping
No problem, bro.
co-host the show, because without you, I definitely would have been just like torchy dirt,
bro.
bro. It's like, honestly, I just was so fascinated hearing more and more about you guys, and that's, like I said, this is what I want to do with this whole thing, is just to get to know you guys better. So, yeah, I think that probably wraps it up. Steve, thanks for joining today. I definitely appreciate you taking the time. I know this kind of ran late, obviously, for you too, Mike, being different time zone.
Problem, bro.
Steve, let the people know where they can find you. Of course, I think
Yeah,
I
sure.
have mostly linked here, but
Sure. I just want to say first and foremost, thank you so much, Mike and Jack, for being awesome hosts and having me as a guest today on the Shiny Light podcast. Is my very first podcast as a guest, or very first podcast in general. So freaking dope. You guys, it's great to do it with you guys. I'm glad that this will be my first experience doing that. And just keep it going. You guys keep up the enthusiasm. Keep asking those hard hitting questions, even if some people are uncomfortable. At least you can know where the limit is. But I think that's important to really get to know somebody. But you guys can find me twitch.tv/DaddySteve on Twitch, and Twitter, Instagram is DaddySteve with the 17. I stream 5 days a week, except Tuesdays and Thursdays, and mostly play League of Legends. I play League of Legends every day except Wednesday. And Wednesdays we play random games. Whatever you guys want to see me play, I usually play random games. That's just in case I need to switch games from League of Legends one day. I'll have some games I've already tried, so I know. So yeah, that's Wednesdays are random game days, and every other day we play League of Legends. We do monthly community events. I'm sure that some of you guys have heard about our 2v2 tournaments that we do and our trivia nights. So if you guys are looking for a chill community, which I know many of the Buff crew are also part of the daycare, many of the daycare family are already part of the Buff crew. But if you're not part of those groups, definitely join them. We'd love to have you guys.
For real, man. And just before I completely send you away, just because I know Mikey is a super cool dude, I would like to get your thoughts on Mikey's question really quick, right before we go and tip it off. All right? Is that okay, man?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Okay.
I completely
Uh, Not a problem, bro.
I just
So
completely went past
Steve's
it.
beautiful face is cutting off half of Mikey's question. So if you can have his question and read it for me, bro, I cannot pull it up.
Oh, through
Do you
Discord?
see which one? Yeah,
Oh, it's
through
on
Yeah.
Discord.
Discord.
I got you.
Okay,
All right, so this is the question. This is to whom it applies to. How does your partner feel about your stream? Are they supportive? Do they wish they were more involved with your stream world? That's the first question. And the second question is, what are some realistic goals you have for your stream for the coming summer? And what are some things you're looking forward to? I'll quickly answer both. So in terms of realistic goals coming into the summer and like looking forward to, it's definitely all out content, either from this or from this podcast to another one that I'm working on, to Instagram photos and videos and Twitter, and being as interactive as I can on Twitter. How does your partner feel about your stream? Are they supportive? Yes, definitely. And that's what I'm very grateful for, is that I get the opportunity to be able to do something like this. And they're not somebody who is very selfish about my time and wanting, I mean, I don't know how to say it. The last relationship I was in, I basically was scolded for playing video games, bro, and I got out of that real quick. So get me out. That's my answer. So yeah.
Mine. My wife, she's supportive. She's been supportive since day one. I literally consulted with her about it to begin with, and yeah, she's been fine with it. I've never had any issues with her like having problems with it. I think there's been times where like I might be too invested in it, where I don't give her enough time. So that's why I went back to scheduling like time to like, I have scheduled days that we're gonna do like us time, and then scheduled days that I'm gonna be streaming, and that's my time. And as long as it's respected, then there's no issues there. So I've never had a problem with that. And then my goals, expectations for the summer, it's the same as it's always been. Just do better than the previous day. Like if I'm looking at the same time last year, because I'm all about numbers. That's what I do for a living at work, is look at numbers. Says like, are we doing better than we were last year at the same time? And if the answer is yes, then I'm happy. If it's not, then we got to go back to the drawing board and find out what the heck we did better last year that we're not doing this year. So as simple as that.
Yeah, I think the whole scheduling thing is super important, just to be able to really respect the schedule, respect each other's time, and of course spend good quality time, because it's
hell yeah, it's important.
It's
and
so
you set those boundaries. You set those boundaries. It makes it easy for people to understand and not get upset.
Yeah,
because I'm like, we made the schedule together.
Yeah.
Pretty dank, guys. You know, my girlfriend, she hates that I stream. By the summer, I want to be a billionaire. Those are my plans.
Hell yeah! Hey,
is that realistic, Mike? Come on, bro. If you say yes, then I'll hold you to your word, bro.
Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars or something like that. Is that what it is? Yeah, you got
if you shoot for the moon with a basketball, all it's doing is hitting you in the face. So I don't know what the hell anyone's talking about. This shoot for the moon, because that thing's clocking you. Nah, yeah. Well, man, thank you for taking the time, out of your day to come on and open up a little bit, dude. I think it's awesome. I think us as men need to do this a little bit more, because I think that this speaks volumes, especially nowadays, because I think the way my pops did it is completely wrong. I think that we should be open, and I think that we should commend one another for being more open.
Absolutely.
And I think anybody that puts another man down for being more open, I leaked my address.
Yeah.
No, but for real, it's not cool, man. I touched on the last podcast. It's not cool to be negative. That's all. Be positive, dude. For real.
Yeah.
So.
Truth.
And if they're negative, just ban them.
Hey, for real though.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you both again for hanging out, and to all of you guys watching, thank you so much. If you guys do end up, wanting to watch this again or listening again, it will be on YouTube. I'll post a link when it goes live. And Steve was telling me I gotta work on Anchor. So what I'm doing is trying to
Yeah.
strip out the audio from this podcast and the last podcast. We're gonna get that uploaded on Anchor. It'll
Hey.
actually
Hey,
I've used Anchor in the
official.
past, and it actually puts your stuff out to all the other audio and streaming platforms. Like I already have a
Oh,
podcast
nice.
up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So
What? For
if
real?
you
Wow.
if you work with Anchor, they actually do that. So I need to get on top of that. So it's
Oh,
it's
bro,
accessible on other
That's
platforms.
legit. That's
That's
awesome.
what. Wow, man.
Yes, definitely do that. That'd be legit.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Any closing thoughts, guys? Anything you want to say? I know Mike, you just all about positivity.
Yeah, bro. Lamau. Feels good, man. Stay chill. You know the deal.
Yeah, I'm just, I love you guys, and you know where to find me.
Right on. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks again. We're gonna take a quick break, and then I think I want to hop into some games. So we'll see how that goes.
Hey, I gotta see you. I gotta see your gameplay. We're scouting you for the
Scout. Okay.
for the
Respect.
game, upcoming
Oh, shit,
games.
bro.
Respect. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in a few. Thank you.
Bye, guys.